Oh my gosh.
Yo, YouTube. Feeling a little quirky tonight, so we'll start it off with some good fun here. So it's welcome back to the show. This is our live we do every Wednesday night. Me, Chuck, and the Stew Meister. Stuart in the house?
Stu is in the house.
Oh, it's officially on once we get the Stuart revved up and ready to go here.
Right.
So we were talking a little bit before we started the show, as we normally do, and we've got a lot to go over today in a way. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of card news this week, which, to be honest with you, is kind of good because I feel like a lot of the news recently has been not so great. The only thing that pops into my head that's recent is Topps had another oopsie, issuing some second one-of-ones in a product. And,
I didn't
maybe
hear
that's
about another one this
maybe
week.
that's their new shtick now. Yeah, just something I heard in passing, kind of with videos playing in the background. So I don't even know much about it, but
Okay.
I heard it being discussed, and I don't really care because I don't buy most of those products, so whatever.
Yeah.
But let's get started with let's do some talking about what we've been buying. Let's do some buying talk instead of some selling talk. That is normally the heart of our show. So what have you been buying lately, Charlie? And all of you in the chat as well.
Yeah. So I continue to be on an F1 kick. Those are good sellers for me. Not high volume, but good margins on those. I think there's a higher end crowd that's used to getting those, and they don't mind, paying that list price. I don't get a lot of offers on them. I just get sales off of them when I put them out there. So continue to be on the lookout for that. I've been back in on the WWE stuff recently. Trying to dig up some of the more parallels and things like that. I seem to be moving a little bit more for me lately. Football and basketball, very prominent in some of the stuff that I've been listing, not necessarily picking up.
Basketball started tonight. Tonight was opening day.
Yeah. And then, anywhere you go, the majority of the cards I find are football and baseball. So I always end up bringing some football and baseball home, even though that's not what I went out looking for. So it's been mostly sports for me. Well, I guess WWE should be called non-sport, right? It's sports entertainment. But predominantly the big sports have been on board for me. Been on the lookout for soccer, but I haven't found a lot of good buying opportunities on soccer. But that's what I go out looking for.
Yeah, in our we should explain a little bit. In our area, we have a basketball team, the Milwaukee Bucks, and we have a football team, the Green Bay Packers. So that is the vast majority of the card activity in our area. We don't see a lot of hockey. We don't have a hockey team. We don't see a lot of soccer. We don't have a soccer team. We do get wrestling comes quite often though, to the Rush Center and that.
Going in December.
Are you going in December?
Yeah, the boys and I get tickets.
I've only ever been to one live event. I went to I'm going to get this wrong. But anyway, it was down in Milwaukee, and I had a ringside seat where you could keep the chair and take it with you.
Wow. That's not cheap.
I did not pay for it. A buddy of mine was a huge fan, and he bought 2 tickets. Somebody else was going to go with him. Couldn't go, kind of last minute. So he called me. I was working for myself at the time, because it was like a Wednesday or something. We had to go to this thing, and he called me and he said, "Hey, I got a ticket. You want it?" And I said, "Not really. I don't want to pay $700 for it, whatever the heck it was." And this was 25 years ago. It was that much. I mean, it's probably like $2,000 now for a ringside. But I got to shake Doink the Clown's little clown paw thing, and those, surprisingly, a lot of those guys actually smell pretty good. I was shocked. I expected it to be just
I didn't think
like
that
a
was
locker
the direction
room,
this
but
conversation was going, but okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember oh, he's got a nice cologne. I don't know. That's a weird thing. I'm not into the entertainment, so I was trying to find other things to sort of entertain myself while I was there. And it's like, oh, this guy's in and he's mad at this guy. And then another guy comes out and the crowd gets all, oh my gosh, I can't believe he's in. I'm like, I don't know who any of these people
Yeah.
are.
Do
But
you
I do get to
remember?
see Chris Benoit wrestle.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
Do you remember a wrestler called Hornswoggle?
No.
So he was a little person, and he would dress up like a leprechaun, but
Sounds familiar.
he
Yeah.
would pull pranks all the time. And so they called him Hornswoggle. He still wrestles, but not in WWE. He
See
is
the guy
actually
that's like he's from our area, right?
he's from
Yeah.
Green Bay. Yeah, when I was
Okay.
going to college here, he actually tended bar downtown, and he
Okay.
used to serve us all drinks. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I think I do remember that from back in the day. I'm just getting my should have done this ahead of time, but I need my drink. It's been a bit of a long week. My wife's been gone, so I've been handling some extras. She as I'm sure you're not shocked, she does most of the things. So
No.
I had to do several extra things. Okay, so let's
What have you
do
been buying?
okay. Yeah. Well, I did go to my LCS yesterday, and I bought a bunch of stuff out of the dollar box and just some lower. I'm switching my mode a tad because I've been buying so much dime box, quarter box, 50-cent stuff. I want to buy some more $1 to $5 stuff,
Yep.
just to get a few bigger things in there. Maybe pick up a few less cards, but some bigger sales. Some better margin. After fees and so forth. And I kind of did that when I went to that Oak Creek show.
Yep.
I found a really solid dollar box there, and I was able to turn a lot of $5 to $10 cards out of that.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of nice. I liked selling the $1.50 cards and the $3 cards and that, but it's nice to have. Yeah, especially if you sell a single card. You sell a single card for $1.50, you get like 30 cents out of that, 40 cents out of that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No, like we've discussed before, there's nothing wrong with that. You sell a couple hundred of them, you're good to go. But it gets kind of old filling a couple $100.50 sales as your regular business.
Yeah.
And I have plenty of bigger dollar stuff too. So it's not like I don't have any of that, but that's kind of what I've been. So I figured LCS would be a great place for that because they don't have quarter cards, 50-cent cards. It's going to be dollar boxes. And my buddy Brian was just there last weekend or something, and he said, "Oh, they just put out a brand new dollar box," and he picked up a few things out of it. And I was doing some running around over in that area yesterday, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna take an hour, go to the LCS, and I've mentioned this before in videos, and I think some of our live discussions too. I think it's good to support your local card shops. Because they are somewhat of a backbone of the hobby. The kids are going to go in there. That's where they're going to get started.
Sure.
In fact, while I was in the store yesterday, one guy came in and he was trying to buy some Pokemon packs for his grandson, whose birthday was this weekend. And then a mother came in with her two young boys, and they like looking at the expensive cards, and then she gives them like $20 to buy a couple packs, to try to get one of the expensive. Yeah. So you could just see like that's not something that can come to my store online. And I like that. And I understand they have overhead, so I'm not going to get, card show type prices. But if I can find enough stuff with some decent value, that's what I've been really looking to buy lately. And then, just trying to list and list and list and list and ship and ship and ship and ship, the usual that way. Yeah, I'm really looking for that. I was really into the sweet spot of those 2 for $1 boxes, I went from like dime boxes to quarter boxes, 2 for $1 boxes. Now I go back to a dime box like we see at the Green Bay show. Yeah, I'm buying the crap out of that. That's a heck of a deal. I'm not turning away from any of that type of purchasing by any measure, but especially with the coupons now that I've been using the coupon, I've been getting a lot more like 15 card orders, 20 card orders, 30 card orders. So if you're doing a $1.50 a pop on some of those, but you're getting 30 cards, that's a nice chunk all at one time.
Yeah.
to ship out. So that's kind of my buying spot right now. I'm also buying a little bit of wax. I bought let's see, this past weekend I went to a card show.
I almost bought a Bowman U Chrome box
Mhm.
today, but I ended up hitting the dollar boxes heavier than I thought I would. So
I did, and I did buy a box of Bowman Chrome U, and I actually got my 2 autos out of it. Can you imagine?
yeah, not like last time, huh?
And one of my autos is a good one. Let me see. Let me pull them up here.
They're all good at
Um,
them. Any
I've
auto's a
pulled,
good auto.
I've already pulled quite a few cards out of these. I haven't even listed them all yet, but um, yeah, I'm always pleasantly surprised with this product. There's a lot of people that have a thirst for college cards, and this is it. This is the set for college card collecting, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
it seems to be going that way. So I've got Will Rogers, who is the quarterback for Mississippi State, who's pretty highly touted, and I got the gold one.
Also a heck of a
Um,
cowboy.
so I got, yeah. So it's numbered out of 50, and then as a little bonus, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see this. Where's the stupid
Nah,
number?
it's
There it
getting
is.
out of focus. 50, yeah, you
It's
can see it out
it's
of 50.
it's one of 50, so it's the first card printed.
Bookend.
So doesn't mean it's the first one he signed because it's a sticker. It would be the first one he signed, likely. If and then I got 2 cards of him, and I also got the Sapphire Blue Parallel out
Okay.
of 199. So I did get some of Dion's kid. I got 2 cards of him. I got a couple Caleb Williams. I mean, there's some decent players in there. One of the things I like about that product is because it's all just college players. There's a lot of like offensive linemen and defensive
Yeah.
linemen, and you don't see a lot of those. You're not going to see a lot of them in like Prism products because people don't really want those cards. Those aren't big enough hits for a $900 box, but they're fine in $100 box.
Right.
And 2 autos, $125. You get 2 autos. There's some case hits to chase. There's refractors. And it's a Topps product, which before we started the show, I kind of talked about how I like Topps products more than Panini's products for the most
Yeah.
part. Quality control still seems to be a little bit of an issue with that product this year. I had a couple cards where there's schmutzy stuff on it. I have one that's got like a print line on it. I've watched a few videos of people breaking some boxes of it, and they've kind of had some of those issues too.
Sure.
So, um, but anyway, I bought a box of that and ripped that, and then I got another box of Yo
Ooh.
MTV Raps, the update version. So it's got
Ah,
it's
the
got
Queen
the
Latifah on the cover.
yeah, Queen Latifah, and this has the Beastie Boys rookies in it.
Nice.
35 for the box, which is pretty good. They're about 75 to 80 online now, plus shipping. So kind of nice to get that in person. You had a few more. I thought about buying them all, but I've already ripped like 4 or 5 boxes of these. And there's plenty of artists that sell besides Beastie Boys, but it's not a huge mover.
Right.
And you get so many cards. It's 10 cards per pack and 30. You get 360 cards in this box. It's insane. So just for the sheer quantity of having to try to stock them somewhere, but $35. That the show was not that great. I barely found anything at the dealers, so
Oh,
I was glad. I was glad the shop was there because I went in and um, picked up a few. He's got a lot of boxes there, and I picked up a few non-sport things. I got some of the Rick and Morty sticker inserts. I think Rick and Morty long term is going to have like a huge cult following. So
hmm.
I did get an Alec Guinness's Ben Kenobi. These were a quarter, by the way, so good price. Uh, Anytime you ever see Mortal Kombat stuff, you buy. Very low print run, huge
I don't think
collector
I've ever
base.
seen it yet.
They do very well. Yeah, they're very rare. So I was excited to find a couple of those. I bought this. I was a big BMX head when I was a kid. I had a Diamondback bike. This is the Diamondback issue out of the BMX card set from 1984, I want to say. 82.
Okay.
So I had to have that. Oh, here's another Mortal Kombat. It's Raiden. So I did find a few non-sport cards, and it was worth my trip out there that way, especially
Yeah.
for the OMTV wraps. And I paid $125 for the Bowman U Chrome, which I thought was a pretty good price. I did also pick up 2 more of these Garbage Pail Kids bookworms
Okay.
boxes. $12 I get these for. They have a bunch of exclusives in there, gross adaptation cards. I've sold quite a few of these already. There's like
Walmart product, right?
there's Harry Potter ones in here, and just like famous book type stuff. So I bought 2. One's for my buddy that we're gonna rip together on Friday when he comes over. But I bought like probably 8 or 9 of these already. But I did get an artist auto card. I got a gold out of 50 out of one box. So there's some Chase stuff in there too. So that's kind of my buying has been wax, which is very weird for me. And I bought the Chronicles Mega at the Appleton show. I got 3 or 4 Purdy rookies out of those. So
it's funny. I actually tried to buy a Chronicles Mega late last week. I was in Barnes and Noble and I picked one out, and then I didn't pay attention to what she handed me, and I got home and it was draft picks instead of Chronicles.
Yeah, and even with Chronicles, they make a Chronicles draft and an NFL Chronicles. You definitely want the NFL Chronicles.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But super, super underrated product, in my opinion. And it was funny because as I was sort of talking to other dealers about that product that weekend, and you see it in my card show video if you watch that last card show video. I talked about it a few times, but it's kind of like all the dealers' perception of it too. They're like, yeah, it's a really underrated product. You get all these cool cards and different sets, and they're not as highly printed because they're all mixed together into that one product, and that's it.
Yeah.
You don't get there isn't a Panini release, just a straight Panini set. There isn't what else is in there? XR and Prism Black. The Prism Black cards are awesome.
They are.
Yeah, so it's a good product. It's fair priced. I got 2 megas for $100, so $50 a mega, which is more than fair in today's pricing anyway. But yeah, that's kind of my buying runs right now. Now I'm going to a show on Saturday, and I'm gonna kind of stick to my $1 to $5 boxes as best as I can. I know there's 2 dealers that have some value boxes of non-sport, and those will probably be my first stops.
Okay.
Just because I've been doing really well with those, and they're just hard to find at shows, as you know. You've been doing this long enough now. You understand the game pretty well.
Getting there.
What's out there. So you have to find those kinds of things. I think are key. I've been selling a ton of Jeter. So I've been looking for some Jeter lots to buy, and but it's like I don't want to spend my time at a show trying to find Jeters. Like you can find Jeter,
Yeah.
I can't find Rick and Morty stickers. That's not something that pops up real often.
Right.
So, yeah, those are kind of my current buying strategies that way. Should we take a look at some chat and see what's going on with everybody?
Before we get too far behind.
I think we're probably already really behind. Our show has grown to the point where our daddling around is not working out very well. Bargain Boxer says, I usually start off with a shout out to Stuart, but not tonight. I'm going to start off with a comment about your last video, online versus live shows. If you are a seller at a show, the number one reason to sell at a show is to avoid paying taxes. Number one reason we buy at shows is to avoid paying taxes. No comment. Didn't pay out taxes, but Mike, we always pay taxes. Hi, Aretha. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. I'm fresh off a 2-day suspension from YouTube. Well,
Uh-oh.
tell us more. How do you deal with the eBay listing algorithm? Sawyer, thanks for joining us tonight. And that's a great question, and it's one of those that probably doesn't have a specific answer because no one lives in that algorithm.
It's
And
a
I actually
secret secret.
believe, okay, so here's my theory on algorithms because I have to sort of put this in my head all the time because I have YouTube and I have, I believe that the algorithm is not like these are the defined things and that's it. I believe the algorithm is living and growing and moving, and it just changes with what's happening, right? And the reason I say that is my daughter's into like wave, current fashion and things like that. And I'll notice that, okay, she's into kawaii. You know what kawaii is? It's like a Japanese style dress.
Okay.
She's into that. And then all of a sudden, and she watches, videos on YouTube about it and stuff. All of a sudden, she'll be talking about like e-girl. E-girl is like a dress trend. She'll be talking about e-girl. And now her suggested videos are e-girl. Right? So you'd think like, okay, if this girl is watching all these kawaii videos, she's into kawaii, I'll keep pushing kawaii videos at her. I think that algorithm watches trends and looks for things that are moving, and you can get behind in a hurry, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So maybe to be like, oh, to feed the eBay algorithm, you do this, this, and this, and then you've got it down. I don't think, I think it's ever evolving, living, changing organism. Um, so how do I deal with the eBay listing algorithm? I list every single day. But I do this all day. So I have that. But even before that, I would list every day. If I don't have new cards to list or time to list any new cards, then I will end previous listings and I'll list those. Helps get your old inventory back in front of some new eyes. It gets
Yep.
kind of the listing activity done for the day. Takes a mere few minutes, and it seems to be pretty effective, as Charlie has learned now that he's been trying it as well.
Yep. Do the same.
One thing I did this week, I had watched a YouTuber, and it's not a card seller, but I watched another reseller. Let's call him a reseller on YouTube, and he said he tried something different, and he actually ended everything in his store and relisted all of it.
Hmm.
Now he's got like 4,000 items, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it's not. I have like 32,000. That'd be a big project. And how do you not miss something, or you try to re-upload it and you get an error? Um, that would take most of a day. I would imagine.
That's something
But
that drives me nuts right now is the change in the condition. It
yeah, I
makes
went
me
through
go in
and
and adjust a few.
yeah, the last 2 days I went in and I added condition to everything that I didn't have conditions on. So it took me a couple of hours to do it. Doing a couple thousand at a time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it wasn't catastrophic, in my day or anything. But it did add some extra workload. But yeah, I think eBay likes. I don't think eBay. I don't think you have to list to get sales on eBay. Like, I mean, you do. You have to have product to sell, obviously, but I don't think like eBay goes, oh, he's listing now. Now I'll put his stuff in front of people. I don't think that's how it really works. I think eBay likes to see you be active. It's going to keep you involved, with its customers. Um, if you're active, if you're doing stuff on the site. But the bigger reason to do the listing is just to get the new product on there and then have those new listings show up for people who search by new listing, which I'm one of those when I shop. So that's why I always make sure I list at least once a day, a couple times a day. I generally start my day by ending 200, my oldest 200 items and relisting them. I shouldn't say relisting them, selling similar, but you have to be careful of the verbiage on these. I sell similar those 200 items. That's the very first thing I do in the day, and then I go pull orders and do whatever else I'm going to do, so that I make sure I have some listings right away in the morning. So I'm doing other work. I've already got some activity going. So
Yeah,
hopefully that helps. What do you think, Charlie?
I think you're right. It's all about activity, but I think there are some parameters around different priority levels of what type of activity are in the algorithm. If you think about if you're eBay and you're writing that algorithm, what's the number one thing to you? The number
Money,
one thing is I need
money,
someone
income,
to make sales so I can get my fees out of it.
right?
So any activity that contributes to consistent or increased volume in sales should, in theory, move you up that algorithm. Now, what is that? Well, you're pricing things at a reasonable range. You're providing new products to sell. Someone who puts 10 items out there and then doesn't touch it again for a month probably isn't going to get much of a push from the algorithm, right?
I think
Um,
it looks at page views too. So
yeah,
let's say you list 100 items, but nobody's looking at any of them. I don't think eBay cares that much.
yeah,
Like the algorithm, I should say, doesn't really. That's
yeah.
why I said it. I think it's living and evolving. So like certain things you would list would maybe be okay. Well, these are trending. The algorithm might assign a better score to that kind of thing. I don't know. I've said this before. It's kind of like the baked beans recipe, right? The dog knows, but he can never tell you. You know,
The funny thing
so it
is,
doesn't really help you.
there's some stoned out programmer probably going to stumble across our show and he's going to be like, "These guys have no clue."
Okay.
It's
So
nowhere near as
and I
complicated
kind
as they think.
and I think I've mentioned this before, but I think of it a lot like your credit score. So I worked in finance forever. And that's the number one question I would get. How do I get my credit score better? I should have a perfect score because I've never missed a payment. That's not how it works. There's
Use
all
your
these
credit.
things, all these things that go into it. It's your time, your length on your job, how long you've lived where you've lived, how much debt you have, your income, there's all these things that feed into it. It's not you do this, you get this score. However, you do have some control in it. And same thing with eBay. If you borrow money and you pay it on time, you did what you're supposed to do as far as the credit score factors on your side. Same thing with eBay. You complete your sales, you're a top rated seller, do follow through with your customer service.
Right.
You list new listings, you sell stuff, you pay your eBay fees, you know, um, ship things on time. Like you just follow your parts of what you have to do to complete what you're agreeing with the
Right.
customer and eBay to do. The rest of it will kind of fall into place.
And
If you're listing a bunch of 1991 Fleer baseball, I don't think that's really going to help your algorithm a whole lot because you're not going to get a lot of eyeballs on it. Although I sold a 91 Fleer card this week, so uh, we can talk about that in a second. What were you going to say,
and
Charlie?
I believe promoting your listings gives you a boost too, because they're going to get more fees
Yeah,
out of it. Yeah.
correct. It definitely gives you a boost because promoting is what actually puts it in front of people.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, you have to kind of consider that too when you're doing your pricing. You want to be competitively priced, but if you're going to have these other things, you're offering discounts, you're doing coupons, you're doing promotion fees, blah blah blah. You can price yourself out pretty quick. So you have to make sure that you're not willing to just you know throw the farm out the window in order to get a sale. That's not a very um, long term. That's long term. That's not going to work. So, and I think about that a lot when I get offers. A lot of times, and I have a very, very solid regular customer base. So I'm very fortunate that way. I've built that up over time. And I'll have some of these guys come on and they'll make me an offer on a card. And I'm like, nope, not going to accept that yet because I'm going to wait for them to throw another card in and another. And I'm like, okay, yep, I'll take your $1.50 because you're buying these other two cards. I can combine those together and you can save some money and I'll save some money. So
Yeah.
you can kind of play the game a little bit too on the seller side to make sure you get your money, and that you're not giving it all to eBay. All right, Peter Dorwin is in here. Welcome, Peter. Thanks for joining us again. In response to your comment on my video earlier, yes, I have some. Oh, it's over here. Artwork missing in the back here. I sent Charlie some pictures earlier, but I'm moving along pretty quick in the basement now. And we're going to be putting together my office pretty soon. I picked up the flooring for it today. And so we've already moved some stuff down there. Some of those pictures were more entertainment pictures. My George Lucas autograph, my autograph from the guy who designed the original Death Star. Rest in peace. He just passed away recently. Very nice guy, Colin. I can't think of his last name. Colin. Anyway, but some of that stuff belonged in the theater area we were building, so I've moved that down there already. We got a bunch of that set up. Anyway, he says, "Hey gang, no JV game tonight. Only softball inter-squad scrimmage." Yes, a lot of that stuff is wrapping up.
Yeah.
I'm glad there's not much sports going on here because it's been raining for like 7 days straight. So that's been fun. Bargain Boxer says he is dollar box that minus $5. Oh, I'm dollar box to $5 box. Yes, you were responding to what I was saying.
I dive into those too, but I don't have so much of a plan when I do it. When I go to a card show, well, you've seen me before. We differ in that you dive right into something that you're looking for right away. I like to take a walk around the layout and kind of get an idea of where the different sites I want to go to are. And if it's $1 to $5 table that I have free reign at, I'll dive in there.
Yeah, I guess I've been doing it long enough where I can grab a small stack of cards out of a box and just know if this is going to be something I want to spend time in or not. And I'd rather, I guess, I mean, it depends on the size of the show. The National is mind blowing. That's wait till you go to that. You're gonna be like, oh, where do I start? And you just kind of have to get in there. You know, you could spend the entire day walking around and never get into any boxes. So
yeah,
I guess I've kind of taken that large show mentality and brought it to my smaller shows that I go to.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I say, nope, got to get started. You know, maybe this isn't the table, but I can take a few seconds and look, and then I know to move on from that. Also, a lot of the shows I know many of the dealers now, so I kind of the guy with the dime boxes is over here. Yeah. So I kind of can go right to where, and you snooze, you lose. You know, if you're going to.
But when we get to a show, as soon as the door is open, and it's me and you and 5, 6 other guys that do the same thing we doing, and you all dive into the first table you see, I'm fine going to the table on the backside and working by myself back there.
Yeah, well, and it depends on what show you go to. You know, if you go to a show where there's 10,000 people there, neither approach is wrong. Sometimes it's going to work for you. Sometimes it's going to work for me. It just is what it is. There's, think about that Oshkosh show, right? You were there for like 4 hours before I got there, and I still found the best non-sport deal.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Why didn't you mention that before?
Well, Stuart told me I had to. Yeah, you're the one
right at the next table from the one I was working on too.
But that's just it. You didn't go to that. You know what I mean? That's why I try to poke through each table a little bit. There's some tables where you're like, that is just not going to be me. You know, it's $500 showcase cards, and here's a random box of autos and memorabilia. I don't know, all cards $10. Those probably aren't going to be for me, at least not to start out with.
Right.
So, you should. There should be some process of elimination right off the bat as well.
Correct. Yeah.
And you can kind of build on it from there. Peter says, Adam, I asked you in one of your older videos about the 500 free auctions, best and laziest way to attack. End goal is to move some inventory. Okay, so this is how I do the 500 free auctions. It's going to be a little bit different this month. I have a bunch of toys and stuff to sell. Now that I got all my collectibles and stuff displayed, I have boxes of stuff that I don't need. By the way, Charlie, there's going to be a box of toys at our show in December.
Oh, really?
I'm going to throw
pops and stuff?
Yeah, it's going to be a make an offer large brown box off the side of my table.
Okay.
I figured December 16th ain't a better time to sell toys.
Yeah, good point.
Anyway, so the way I do it is I have basically 500 auctions that I have built, and I want to sell my stuff that I have plenty of, like multiple copies of, and lower dollar stuff because I want to just list them at 99 cents. I know they're going to likely end at 99 cents. I don't want to put $10 cards on there. So I do, basically it's been farves since I've started this, since I have so many of them. And because I do it based on one player, I did do a run of Emmitt Smith at one point. I did a run of Jerry Rice, and same thing basically applies. But I'll list 500 base farm cards, and I sling them all out there. And I'll generally sell 60 to 75 of them. I look at it like that pays my monthly eBay fee. So to me, that's my get out of store free cards. Get out of store fees free, if that makes sense. Anyway, so I'll list those 500, whatever sells. Then whatever didn't sell, I just leave in my unsold on eBay to sit there. And then when the next first of the month comes and I get 500 again, I just relist them. So I'm not building them. It takes me 5 minutes to list, 300-400 cards. So let's say I have 400 that didn't sell. Well, I'll list those 400, then I just have to list an additional 100 on my own, for the ones that sold the previous month. So that's how I do it. It's pretty quick. It takes me, maybe an hour on that first of the month to get them out there. There's arguments that, auctions bring traffic into your store. There's arguments that say auctions don't do anything for your store. If anything, it makes it worse. I've seen it kind of go both ways for me, to be honest with you. I've seen a card I list at 99 cents, and for some reason it gets bid up to like $2.50, and I sell it in my store for $1.50. So then I'll have like the people who are bidding on it, they'll go in and buy $1.50 copy, and I'll sell like 3 copies plus the one that somebody bid up to $2 on it. So I can actually clear out a little bit more inventory. Now I have multiple copies of those cards, so that's an advantage there. But generally, when I'm selling 99-cent base cards, somebody's not going to buy one card. So if I sell 100 cards, maybe 5 of those sales were single cards where I don't make any money. In fact, I lose like 10 cents, 15 cents, something like that, if I have to ship a single 99-cent card. The rest of them, it's going to be like bought 3 cards, bought 10 cards, bought 4 cards, whatever. And then you make money because you don't make any money on the first one, but all the other ones are basically 99 cents because you're not paying much for additional fees or shipping or any of that. And even with those 5 that I send that I don't make money on, I still consider that a win because it gave me a chance with a new customer. So it's kind of like, let's say you open a new brick and mortar store and you have a grand opening and you give everybody a toaster that comes to the door. Well, you're losing money on those toasters. They cost you something, but it gives you a chance to get that customer. So that's how I look at it. Sometimes customers start with auctions. They're not comfortable just going in and slapping down the $5 on a card. They want to kind of figure you out, play the game a little bit. And also, there are people that only buy on auctions and don't buy in the store. So I have customers that every month will win some of my auctions and never buy anything in my store. So they clearly are okay with me because they're back every month and buying more because you start to get to know usernames and stuff, after you deal with customers for a while. So that gives me a buyer that won't come to my store to buy something. I can still make a sale to them. That's how I look at it. Now, the key is those have to be free auctions. You do not want to be spending I don't even know what it costs if you're not a premium store. I think it's 5 cents for me to list an auction. Yeah, I think it's like 10 or 15 cents if you're not a premium store. And I wouldn't want to list at 15 cents 500 auctions. You're going to lose your shirt pretty quick on that. But at the free listing, if the card doesn't sell, it costs you $0. You don't pay anything. So
yeah, I kind of wonder if there's a break point in your inventory when that strategy makes more sense too, because I don't know that it would make sense for me right now where I'm at. Especially I don't like when did I start? March. So we're 7 months in. I mean, I don't necessarily have that much really old inventory. I don't know what
Yep.
you would consider really old, but for you, I imagine you've got some stuff that maybe was sitting out there over a year, um, and are low end cards. So I think that makes perfect sense. Hey, let's move some of this stuff, make room for some better cards in there or something. You know?
Well, it's also cards that I don't have listed.
Yeah.
I just have like giant monster boxes of stuff I haven't listed yet, and those are what I put in my auction. I'm not going to take something down in the store and then put it on auction. That, first of all, I'm lazy. That's too much work. Second of all, I don't really see the point in that. And once it's in my store, I expect to sell it out of my store. I priced it that way. I bought it with the intention to sell it out of the store. Um, but to your point, I have, 15, 20,000 bar base cards sitting in boxes. So I have that available to me, and I have my 500 listed. If I sell 100, I grab another stack of 100 out of the box. I add those next month, plus the ones that didn't sell, and I just keep that show
Okay.
rolling.
So then I
That's all.
misunderstood
That's
what
how
you were
I do
doing.
it.
I thought you were converting to auction cards that hadn't sold for you in your store. So you're
Nope.
actually taking the time to go out there and create new listings for them?
For the ones that were for the empty slots, if you will, from what I sold from the month before. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Now remember, they're all the same player, so I just do the sell similar. I just got to change the year, the card number. I literally looked at Farb cards so often that I could tell you the card number on many of the cards,
Mm-hmm.
which is insane to think about. But I can list those pretty quick, and then if that one sells, great. Then I list another one next month. If it doesn't, it sits in my unsold, and all I got to do is hit relist and
Yeah.
throw them back in there. So it's not a lot of work for the ones that don't sell. Bargain Boxer says he went to a show last weekend, picked up 220 cards in a dollar box.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially what I did yesterday. I spent a little under 200. Some of those were $2. I bought some $3 ones, stuff like that. But actually, the most I paid was I paid $7 for a Bo Jackson football rookie card. But it's in really nice shape, and I don't know. I didn't have one. I thought it'd be a great thing to have in the store. Both stuff sells really well, and I could easily get 12 to 15 bucks for that card, I'm sure. So yeah. But yeah, good for you. That's good. That's a good pickup. 220 cards is legit. You're gonna have to start selling some stuff because you said you only
I was
buy,
just gonna
but
say, as long as you
you're
can
always
sell them.
you're always buying, but you're not selling. So you're gonna run out of room. Found a super nice box last weekend. Found a Josh Allen jersey card for 50 cents. Yeah, I would have bought that.
Yeah.
And a bunch of mosaic color of players like Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence for a quarter. That's an awesome box. That might have even been a box where you could make a plan just buying the whole box, if it all looked like that,
Yeah.
or similar to that. That would have been a good run. But yeah, awesome, good for you. That's what you got to look for when you buy a box like that. Is it better to sell it sealed or sell the singles? I think he's referring to my UMTV Rats box.
Yeah.
So I don't sell anything sealed. I either rip it or I don't know. I do have some sealed wax boxes here. I actually have pretty good self control. I have a 2021 Prism football box, and I have a 92 Tops High Numbers box still sealed. That's the first Favre Tops card, and it's got the gold parallels in there. I've got some sets. I've got some soccer boxes still sealed. I mean, I sold one sealed box way before the boom. I bought a box of 2016-17 Select Soccer, which has Pulisic rookie in it. For those who know, you know. For those who don't know, Christian Pulisic is like the best American player. Won a championship with Chelsea a couple years ago in the Premier League in Europe. Scored the big goal in the World Cup. If you watched any of the Team USA World Cup, where he ran into the goalpost and almost took him out of the game. Anyway, he was huge at the time. The boom came. I think I paid $140 $40 for that box. I ended up selling it for like 600 and something.
Yeah.
So I intended to hang on to it, but I was like, yeah, I'm probably never going to get more than that for this box. So I sold it.
I think it's different if you're looking at sports or non-sports too.
Yeah.
Non-sports, I think, you may be able to make out. Yeah, and he's talking about MTV Raps and Garbage Pail
Yep.
Kids. But
yeah, I just threw it on there.
when I think of sports and I think about the debate on sell sealed or sell singles, if you're going to sell sealed non-sports, I don't think it's any different than prospecting. Because really what you're banking on is there's going to be some prospects in that box that are going to take off in the next 5 years, and it's going to make that whole box more valuable.
Yeah, I mean you're basically, so instead of buying a single of a certain player out of that set, you're basically investing in the set as a whole. That rookie class more than anything. There's some exceptions to that, like if you were buying metal boxes in the 90s, you weren't buying it because of the rookie class, you were buying it because of the inserts are so insanely popular. So there might be some exceptions to that rookie, but 99% of the time you'd be buying it because you're investing in the rookie class or the prospect class. So CR says, by the way, welcome, CR. I don't think we welcomed you to the show tonight, so thanks for joining us. People don't respect paper cards as opposed to Chrome, to be honest. I don't know. I don't really see that. I actually sell quite a bit of paper stuff.
Yeah, I think paper moves, but I will agree that Chrome definitely has a higher price point, and I think it should because it's going to hold up better. And it's a better quality card. But if you think about, I'll go back to the prospects again. That first Bowman paper and that first Bowman Chrome are going to be two different tiers of cards.
Sure. But you pay less for them, too.
That's true.
It's relative. I mean, oh, gee, my Topps paper LeBron isn't worth as much as my National Treasures autographed jersey card of him. Well, no. You have to be realistic with it too. One of the things I love about paper is it's a great entry point for a lot of people. So you want an Aaron Judge rookie card, for example. You could get his Bowman Chrome Gold Auto numbered to 10, which all the guys on YouTube are going to tell you to buy. That's the one. Look at this gem I got. But if you don't want to spend $5,000 on an Aaron Judge card, you can pick up his paper rookie for $25.
Right.
I don't know. And then you're not taking all the risk. As much risk.
And some of those paper rookies can be worth a pretty penny too. I mean, I sold a Corbin Carroll paper rookie card this week. It was an insert one of I think it's like Topps 88 season or something like that auto, but that went for over $300. But again, it wasn't the high end sets, right? Like, so in the end, it just matters who it is more than anything else.
Yeah, agreed. I don't actually. So I've talked about this a little bit before with some of my videos, tips on what to buy in the value boxes. I believe sets matter, but it's not specifically paper or specifically Chrome or There's some really good acetate sets that I think are awesome. Topps High Tech is fantastic stuff to buy.
Yep.
EX 2000, those acetate clear cards, those are amazing. From the 90s. So I don't think you necessarily have to go Chrome either. There can be some. Think about or even like I mentioned before, National Treasures, is that Chrome? No.
Mm-hmm.
It's the card stock. It's just they have good players, they have game used jerseys, they have autographs, they're serial numbered. Like you got to look at all the elements. Now that being said, there are a lot of times where I will spend up a bit on a card that I know is super shiny and looks cool because why not? I like it too. I'll buy a lot based on what I think looks cool.
Yeah.
So
I was just going to say, like, if I'm digging through a dollar box and I see a paper copy and a Chrome copy of the same card, I'm going to be quicker to grab the Chrome one to be honest.
Especially if they're the same price. I mean, yeah, you know, but I sell a ton of like Topps base cards. There's these collectors that have been around forever that just buy Topps. That's the only thing they buy. And I can tell right away because I'll get an order and it'll be
Are you
like,
talking about my inventory?
yeah, I'll get an order and it'll be like an Otani Topps base card and a Judge Topps base card and a, you know, Bryce Harper Topps. And I'm like, different years, different sets, you know, it doesn't matter. It's like an all Topps order. And you're like, oh, this is one of those solid, just I only buy Topps cards, you know, collector. So I think it really depends on who you're trying to appeal to. If you're trying to sell to an older buyer, not to throw ageism into it, I'm just speaking from experience. But generally, if I'm selling to an older buyer who's been in the hobby a long time, they don't really care about the chrome. They'd rather spend a bit less, get a nice, you know, piece of photography on a white cardstock base card, and that's what they collect. You know, they don't want to start moving things into chrome. So you're also talking about modern cards. I do buy modern cards, but I buy a ton of 90s. 90s is definitely my honey hole. That's where I make most of my money. I love the vintage cards. I sell a ton of vintage commons. I bought out of that that LCS box. I bought some Roger Staubach cards. I bought a Terry Bradshaw card. Bought some early Ricky Henderson stuff. That stuff's all paper, and there's no reason to not buy vintage because they're paper. I mean, vintage is still the best market in cards. And you know, when everybody was buying the, you know, Zion Williamson Prism base PSA 10s, I bought some Joe Montana rookies. I bought some Barry Sanders rookies, some Dion rookies. I bought some boxes of, you know, Favre Topps, you know, rookie paper rookies in it. I was like, they're missing the boat. I'm gonna go buy this stuff while this stuff is all overpriced. Because I'm not gonna pay what you know what was being asked for Zion cards. Just to use as an example. So, but yeah, do I like shiny stuff? Yeah, you know, who doesn't? So, especially, you know, if you're gonna grade it or you're gonna put it up somewhere. But you can get some pretty cool looking non-shiny stuff. Look at this big head Randy Moss card. Power up, you get points, and then it was like a code you could use online, and it gave you points for your fantasy team or something like that. That stuff's cool, dude. It's not chrome, you know. So, yeah, I don't know if your point is that like you think chrome is better or not. It sounds like you're saying paper should get more respect, and we agree with you if that is your point.
Yeah.
In your question. CR also says Jeter does TV gigs, so he'll be steady selling. Yeah, he also owns Arena Grading, which is gaining a little bit of steam. You can actually trade with him online, which is kind of cool. So
allegedly,
yeah, allegedly, he'll be. I did offer him I offered him a trade on my Jordan Alvarez, and I never heard back. So you know. But yeah, it's yeah, he's going to be relevant forever because he's the greatest Yankee ever. Okay, moving on. Number one, number one reason to buy at a show at cheapest possible prices. In a lot of cases, yes, I would agree. Show shopping is my favorite way to get inventory. That and buying collections.
Yeah.
Buying collections is actually still cheaper than buying at a show. A little harder to get a hold of, though.
Yeah, I feel like at a show, you're more likely to get wholesale prices, and anywhere else, you're going to be stuck in that retail pricing.
Yep, exactly. And even if they're not at the best price, when you start digging, you can make them at the best price by bulking up. So
right.
I don't give up just because this card's $1 in the dollar box. I really want to pay 75 cents for it. I can get it for 75 cents if I can find enough stuff in that box. Sometimes I'll even pay up for that individual card, maybe a little bit more than I wanted to because I got another card for $1 out of that box that I can sell for 20.
Right.
If you're willing to, okay, well, I can sell this one quick. I'll make a smaller margin on it than I want, but I'll take that because that's still profit. And then this other one, I've got a real solid margin on, where I can make my real money. In the end, you need to make profit. If you're going to do this, like we're coming from the angle of we're doing this to try to make money. At least I am. Um, and if that is your goal, then yeah, you need to watch, what you're going to pay for something versus what you can sell it for after fees and all the other good stuff besides. Dad and Sons has joined us. Hi guys, you probably joined us like an hour ago, but we're just getting to them now. Welcome to the show. I bought a lot of 3K cards for $55, and so far so good. It's a grind, but it keeps me busy. Some cards have bad corners, but I think it's from the travel the box made. Yeah, I've bought lots like that all the time, especially if they're older cards, vintage. You can sell the commons, so it doesn't really matter too much what's in the box at $55 for 3,000 cards. You should be able to turn some money out of that. Worst case scenario, you take what you can't do anything with, you chuck them in your quarter or dime boxes, and you bring them to a show and let somebody else pick them out. You can make some of your money back that way. Peter says, okay, I tried the end listing and sell similar concept you shared. What happened to me was that I got a message saying duplicate listing exists in your store. It really had me baffled. Well, you have to end the listing first before you can do the sell similar. If you try to do the sell similar first, yeah, eBay has a policy that you cannot have more than one of the same exact listing. So make sure you end the listings. I do 200 because that's what it defaults as far as one page of listings. I end the 200, then I go into the ended listings tab in my seller hub, and it should bring up just 200 listings then. And then you do sell similar on them, and I do them in 50 at a crack because, again, that's the default per page. So I list the 50, then I go delete those 50. Then I list the next 50, and then I delete those 50. Make sure you're deleting them. You don't want to double up what you're listing. So in a way, that's actually protected you because otherwise you'd have two listings of everything and then have fun with that.
And that was the one time I got that message as well, is I failed to delete everything before I hit the sell similar next. Yep. So that's likely what I'm thinking happened, is something didn't get deleted before you went to do that.
Yeah, or you're trying to sell similar before you delete. I think your theory is, well, I'll sell similar first, so I have the new listing out there. That way I know for sure it's done and it's there before I just kill these listings and they're off my store. But yeah, you have to end first. You can't duplicate.
So the watch out that I would tell you is, if you have multiple pages that you're working through, you got to be very specific in how you do it. When you sell similar on that first page, go back and delete those before you go to the next page and start working, or you're likely going to get some overlap, and then you're going to get that notice.
Yeah, it's against policy, but it's also, I always look at it as a protection for me, because sometimes I'm doing other things and I get distracted and I go try to list the same 50 I already listed, and it's like 50 listings can't be relisted. Oops, okay, well, go back to those, delete them, and then do the next 50. Once you do it regularly, it's like like anything you do in the morning. You're showering, you're brushing your teeth, and you're doing all your stuff. I come in and I end listing, sell similar. I don't even really think about it anymore. It's almost a muscle memory activity at this point. You don't have to do it. It's just a nice way to get your old inventory back to some new eyes, and also to make sure that you have some listing activity, especially on a day if you're not going to be listing other cards. D-Man has joined us. He's been selling some stuff for holiday cash last few weeks. Had 3 people out of 15 orders stated they never received the order, even though it shows delivered. Has that been happening lately to you? I've actually had a couple that got delivered late recently. I haven't had that problem in quite a long time. But I had a couple of those recently. I did have one where it said out for delivery, and it was like a week ago, and they still hadn't gotten it. Cheap card, $3 card, something like that. Just refunded it. My experience with customers on eBay is the customers are really cool. I haven't had anybody jump down my throat. Usually I get, dude, USPS is so slow. Just wanted to let you know I haven't gotten the card yet. Or, oh, man, well, the question I get a lot is, how do I see the tracking? The tracking number doesn't show up when I track, because I think people take that ESUS, tracking number that eBay gives you, and they try to go to like USPS and track it on there, which you can't. You can only track it in
eBay.
the listing itself. So sometimes I'll pull the tracking up and I'll just screenshot it and send it to the customer so they can see what's going on. So I've had that, but yeah, I don't get 3 out of 15 orders is a lot. And I know, Charlie, you had this problem early on, and I'd given you some, I think, advice on how to solve that. So why don't you answer this question?
Yeah, so this happens in bunches every once in a while for whatever reason, and it has to do with USPS operations typically. So the number one thing is when you get a message like that, remember that eBay is giving an estimate of delivery, and people
Right.
by their very nature are impatient. So it says on eBay it should deliver by the 16th. It's the 16th at noon. I don't have it. And a lot of people will send you a message right away, right? So the standard response you want to give them is, hey, most likely there was a misscan, or they didn't get the truck en route today, but they put it on the truck this morning, so they show it delivered. Let's give it a couple days. If it doesn't show, then we'll work through either a refund or a replacement.
And I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think what he's referring to is the customer sees out for delivery or delivered, and they say, hey, this is, and naturally, I would, when I first saw this, I thought that too. If it says delivered, that means it should be in your mailbox. Yeah. But that's not really the case. Charlie's right. They'll scan them all delivered when they put them on the trucks. And if the truck doesn't get it delivered, it's scanned delivered, but they didn't receive it. It's still on the truck. It's not like you won't get it. And I've had that happen, like where it's maybe 3 days later they actually get it.
Yeah.
So if somebody files a request, just say, yeah, I know sometimes, the tracking isn't so great with this, or let's give it a couple more days. If it doesn't show up, let me know. I'll give you a refund. Just let them know that you're thinking of them. Respond to them as soon as you can. I talk a lot about customer service on this show. I believe it's extremely important. I think it's more important than if you go into your local, drugstore to buy your cards, because they don't know you. They don't see your face. I'm a tad bit of an exception. I have a YouTube channel and all, but if you're just a seller on eBay and they have no connection to you, they send you a message, put them at peace. Just let them know. Hey, sometimes this stuff happens. I've had this experience with some other orders. I'll take care of it if it doesn't show up. Let me know. Give it to the weekend or whatever.
Yeah.
Most customers are gonna be like, yeah, that sounds great. Thank you so much for getting back to me right away.
Right. I had a similar situation just last Wednesday. I got a message from a customer because eBay said it should have delivered that day. It didn't show in delivered status yet. It was still showing en route. But he messaged me and said, hey, just wanted to see if you know anything about this order because I haven't received it yet. Yeah. So I did just what we discussed. I said, hey, let's give it till Friday, see if it shows up. USPS has an issue once in a while, but for the number of cards I sell, they do a really good job. But every once in a while, there's a misscan or something. So I said, let's give it till Friday. And he actually came back and said, all right, I'll actually give it through the weekend. And sure enough, Saturday morning, I got a message from him saying, hey, I'm glad I gave it the weekend. It showed up today.
Yeah, and I get that message a lot too. Hey, just wanted to let you know I got the card today. Okay, yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much. Hope you enjoy it. Let me know if there's anything else you need. Yeah, it's not a perfect system. You have to, unless you want to drive every card to every location, you got to stick it in that box and hope for the best. I also told Charlie, gave Charlie a tip to make sure you take your mail to a hub. Try not to give it to your carrier or give it to, a location where it's got to jump to 3 different post offices before it goes anywhere. Try to get it right to a shipping location hub in your area, if that's convenient enough for you to get it to. and you'll have a lot less stops. It might have 1 or 2 stops before it gets to the destination. You'll get there faster, and there's less. The less places it has to visit, the less likelihood you have of it getting displaced or returned to your extra postage added on. I get that sometimes too. Hey, the letter carrier charged me 43 cents to get this envelope. Well, that's because they don't know what they're doing. They don't follow their own rules for weight, size, and measurements, and it is
I
what it
haven't
is.
had that happen yet.
I've had it. It doesn't happen real often. Maybe a couple times a year, and usually the customer just says, "Hey, I just wanted to let you know, there wasn't enough postage on this. No big deal. I paid the 43 cents." They have their item. It's in good condition. It's generally 20 cents, 30 cents, 40 cents. It's going to be a small amount. It's pretty easy to take care of. I had one customer that I talked to. They weren't really happy about paying the 43 cents. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
And I said, no problem. I said, let me know what card you want in the store, and I'll send you an offer at 43 cents less than what I'm asking. And you can get your 43 cents back that way. I'm not going to PayPal somebody 43 cents. I'm not going to do that. I'll give you a 43-cent discount on your next order, and we're all good.
And that's a
So
great
there's plenty of ways to
example.
solve problems.
That was also something I did with that customer last week. I said, if it doesn't show up and you don't want to go through eBay and get a refund, if there's something else in my store that you like, I'll cut you a deep discount on that card.
Mm-hmm. I want to get to some more chat, but D-Man brought something up that I kind of wanted to cover in our topics tonight. It's an hour in, so we should probably bring up one of our topics. Well, we kind of did. We talked about buying from the LCS, so I guess we're one topic in. Anyway, he says selling some stuff for some holiday cash. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about and have some conversation with everybody on tactics for selling over the holidays. Do we think that that's a so? Well, let me give you some overview on card sales during this time of year. They go down. Typically, this is not a great time of year to sell cards because generally that's a fluff item in people's budgets, and they're buying Christmas presents. And did you know like a 15-pound turkey is like $65 this year or something like that, or $72 or?
I don't remember the last time I bought a turkey.
Oh my God, it's insane. Well, we do Thanksgiving. We do Thanksgiving at my house. So we've had a frozen turkey for about 4 months. We got one at a really, really good price, and we just bought it, and I stuck it in my freezer downstairs. We paid like half that amount. But yeah, I was looking once. I like money, so every year about this time, I kind of check the price of turkeys just to see, how stupid they're getting with it. And yeah, it's pretty insane. So anyway. Now, that being said, I think there's some things you can do to bulk up those holiday sales. So instead of appealing to the buyer as the buyer buying the card for themselves, try to appeal to them as them buying cards for their friends, buying cards for their kids. You send coupons out, maybe send a holiday discount coupon. Kind of holiday up a little bit your business. One of the things I did was I went and bought all those Santa Claus Happy Holidays football cards from the mid 90s. I bought 100 and some copies of those. That's perfect. Charlie and I are friends, and he collects football cards, and I collect football cards. I'm going to get him this really awesome collector's edge Santa Claus football card, and I'm going to stick that in his Christmas card this year. Things like that. Try to get some. There's ornament cards. There's the holiday sweater cards. There's the holiday edition Topps boxes. Charlie and I were just talking about those, how awesome we think those cards are. The foil parallels are cool, where the snowflakes are like foil and stuff. Try to maybe incorporate a little bit of holidayness in your eBay sales if you can, and that should help fill maybe some of that space where you would normally get other sales. What's going on there, Charlie?
Oh, I have some of those holiday cards handy. I was going to show one. I just listed a bunch before the show, but here's one with the foil snowflakes. I don't know if we can catch the light just right, but they're like a metal coated So the normal card has that snowflake design, but in the
Mm-hmm.
right light, these will sparkle. And then
Yeah,
there's
they're kind of glittery almost.
then there's also the candy cane and hat stuff. So here you see the bat is candy cane. So those are fun ones to get out there for the holidays. Yeah, I just listed, I don't know, 15, 20 of them before the show today. I got a few more I want to get out there.
Yeah, so I figured out a little trick the last time we were doing a show where, hey, when somebody tries to show something on the screen, why don't we put them on the screen by themselves?
What a thought!
So you gave me a chance to put that in practice, and I could see the card much better with just you on the screen instead of my goofy face.
Yeah, it did make a difference, didn't it?
You know who we need to see on screen though that we haven't seen in a while?
Who's that?
The Sound of Music.
That's right, Stewie.
Stu. He needs his own show. Well, he kind of has his own show. We're like,
I thought this was his show. I thought
yeah,
we
we're
could help him out.
supporting guests, I suppose. Let's see, where was I now? Peter wants to know where everyone's from. I stumbled on some of Adam's videos from about 2 to 3 years ago. Oh boy, I bet those were ugly. Myself, I'm in Clearwater, Florida. Well, lucky you. And lots of shows in the Tampa Bay area. So Charlie and I are both from the Green Bay area, or we're in the Green Bay area now, I should say. We live in the Green Bay area. And we're pretty fortunate. We have a pretty good amount of shows, too. Within an hour or two driving, you could go to one almost every weekend. And there's great dealers. We have shops all over. We have 2 shops in Green Bay. There's one out in Luxembourg. There's 2 in Appleton, I believe, now. Yeah, so I'm glad to hear it. And Clearwater is an awesome area. I've been there before, so I'm sure. And I think you're in real estate or something, right? So it's probably a great area to be for that type of business. Bargain Boxer says he's going to the Clearwater show in January.
Oh.
Probably run into Michael Ham and Wax Museum podcast, Kyle Yerkes. I don't know who that is, but I hope you have a great time. Maybe you and Peter can meet up and get some bargain boxes together. That would be awesome. Florida has millions of shows year round. I need to move to Florida. Yeah. Back to the auctions, 99-cent auction and free shipping. You don't make any money, right? Unless you strictly want new eyes to visit the store. I don't see the point. I'm guessing you mentioned this before. You heard my explanation, but yeah, you're looking for multiple card sales. As long as they're buying more than one card, you make money. So, but yeah, if you list 199-cent items and 100 different people buy them, yeah, that would be a lot of effort for no, monetary productivity. But if you sell 100 cards and it's to 10 buyers and they each bought 10, yeah, you made money on them. After the first one, you made money on all the other ones.
But there is a little bit of a gamble in that, right? Like, what can you do to increase your odds of someone buying multiple cards?
To me, the only way to do that is to make sure you're listing cards that somebody would want more than one of, right? So you want to list a bunch of cards that are similar. That's why I said I do it by player. So I did once I did an entire Emmitt Smith. I just had a ton of Emmitt Smith base. I bought like some big lots of, just super, low end base stuff, and I just listed 500 Emmitt cards. If somebody's coming to buy an Emmitt Smith base card for 99 cents, they're probably an Emmitt collector, or at least a Cowboys collector, and they're probably going to see 4 or 5 different Emmitt cards they want, and they'll get a buck on each one.
Sure.
So, is there a guarantee of that? No. Nope. So, if you want a guarantee, don't do auctions. But it is a good way to move some inventory. I've been doing that for years, like almost 2.5 years probably now. I've been running those 500 auctions every month. I've never had a month where it's like, oh, I sold 60 cards to 60 different buyers. There are single card buyers almost every month when I do it, but it's very minimal. Sometimes it's like one or two. And then I sold another 50 or 60 and it was all multiple card buyers. So hopefully that makes sense. I feel like my light is flickering. What's going on? Doesn't like the rain.
I didn't notice anything.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of probably skip a little ahead on the chat. We're going to get too far behind. Flipping Sports guys joined us. Hey, guys. Hey, Flipping Sports. Thanks for joining us. Sorry if it's like an hour late. You were cool to make on cars, 50 cents. This is actually a good question, so I'm going to address this real quick. What is the minimum amount you are cool to make on a card to justify listing it on eBay? 50 cents or what? So I'm kind of in that like 30 to 50 cent range is my minimum that I want to make. And you kind of have to have a little bit of a range because there's some other variables. Like, what if they bought it on a promotion? You don't necessarily know exactly what the promotion rate would be.
Yeah.
Things like that. So as long as I'm in that 30 to 50 cent range, I don't really want to do that all day long, but a few card sales a day, that's nice. And if they buy multiple cards, all the cards after one are essentially profit. So, or low fees, I should say. Not really all profit. Still going to pay her 12.5% back end fee, but 12.5% on $1.50 is what, 10, 15, about 18 cents. So you still made $1.30, let's say $1.30 on that card. That's pretty solid for a card you probably paid like 5 or 10 cents for.
Right.
Yesterday I heard of 2 card shops closing. Value Box Digger, welcome. Yesterday I heard of 2 card shops closing by year end. LCS are great, but I think it is only the beginning of seeing shops closing because online is so big. Thoughts? Well, online isn't new. It's been around forever, and card shops were opening in the past few years. I think you're seeing the signs of, a slower economy. Inflation is still there. People are spending more money on other stuff. Brick and mortar is very expensive to run. If you're trying to open a shop in an area where you're not getting any foot traffic, that's probably going to be a problem. One of the things I don't understand, and I guess it's my online selling mentality that I've had for the last 30 years, but if you want to shop, why aren't you also selling online? I don't get that.
Right.
Like, we have to close because people are selling online. Well, then sell online. Like, you're sitting here all day in the shop. You can't be that busy all day. Obviously not if you're closing it. Right. Just do breaks. The LCSs that do well, they don't just put 20 cards in a case and get their 2 boxes of product a week, and hope for the best. They're doing breaks. They're selling stuff online. They're doing trades. They're buying collections, splitting them. You got to do stuff. You can't just. I think long ago are the days where you simply get the stuff off the UPS and put it on the shelf and you're good to go. Like, that's not.
It's not going to work. It's not enough.
Upper market area, that's not a good way to go. There's a reason I never bought. I never get a brick and mortar store. I just don't. I think the costs are outrageous for something like that. I don't see the point. Trying to staff it and then insurance and you got to watch out for theft and there's all these things that I don't have to deal with in my home office. I can sell 24 hours a day. I don't have to have certain hours. But that being said, I believe there is still a place for the LCS there. That mom with the 2 little kids who came in yesterday, the grandpa just trying to buy something for the grandson. That's where those are the sales that you need to make as an LCS. That's who you should be selling to, not our clientele. It should be different buyers.
Here's a question for you, Adam. How do you think a typical LCS looks upon low-end resellers like ourselves?
How do I think they think of us?
Yeah.
I don't think we're in any kind of competition. We both do very different things, I would say, for the most part. We can be a source of. That's why I said it's important to support your LCS. I'll go in there a couple times a year and I'll buy a stack of cards. I'll go buy. I buy my supplies local. I don't order a case of them online. You don't really get much of a better deal anyway.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I pretty much always buy my sleeves out at Tim's because he has those 500 packs for $4.
And they have
$4.
some top loaders in it too, right?
No, it's just four. You get 4 packs of penny sleeves in like a portfolio package,
Okay.
and it's 125 per pack. So you get 500 in those out of those 4 packs for $4. So it's less than a penny. And I don't pay shipping. I don't do any of that. I just grab the pack, pay for it. I'm already there.
Yeah.
But it allows me to support the local stores and
yeah, I think
I bought all those Santa Claus cards at a local LCS for $1 a piece. That was a heck of a deal.
Yeah. I think there's 2 groups. I think there are those that really don't expand to think about other selling channels out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're probably really annoyed with people like us who come in. And I agree. I buy my supplies all the time from an LCS. But when I go to buy cards, I think they get annoyed with us, trying to get even less than $1 a card, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think what they're missing out is, okay, so I went in an LCS today. They probably had 20.
How was your experience there today, Charlie? Tell us about that.
It was mixed. So example though, they probably had $20,000 box cards in there, right? And they'll probably have 100,000 more over the course of the rest of the year, right? They've got those taking up room in their store. They're not high volume movers. Personally, I think like I'm doing them a favor by grabbing 100 or more every time I go in to move some of that inventory that could be sitting there a really long time.
Yep.
And they need to understand I don't just walk out the store and drop it off to somebody on a street corner. I've got to take pictures. I've got to list it. I've got to pay fees on it. So I need to negotiate with them on that so that I can sell it and make a living off of it too. Not really make a living, but get some profit. But I think there's 2 groups. There's those that understand that and they're like, yeah, you're part of the symbiotic relationship in the hobby, right?
Yep.
You're going to take the stuff I really don't want tying up space in my store because space is at a premium in a brick and mortar store.
Yep.
And you're gonna get it at a profit margin you need. But then there's this other group that say, man, you're really annoying. I'm already selling it for $1 and you want to get it for 60 cents, And I just don't think those ones get the bigger picture, right?
Yeah, and I think it goes back to the fact that they just have so many expenses. Like to them, a 40-cent cut is now I can't pay for my lights. Yeah, I think we all, like any business, you're gonna have different players in the same sandbox doing different things, and it's smart for you all to work along, together. I know of other online sellers that hate breakers. Oh, these breakers do this, and then these guys. No, we want people to open the boxes. Like, how are you going to get cards if no one opens the boxes? People don't buy into breaks.
Yeah.
Like, don't be silly. You need to. I need the LCS to sell boxes to kids in town so that they come back and turn in their hits for pennies on the dollar for the next box, and then I can buy those and sell them for a profit. You know, I think we all have, and that shop is a little different. I think they are very slim on what they make.
Yeah.
So they're a little more challenged. The other shop and I'm not going to say names because we don't need to do that, but the other shop in town has been there forever. A little bit bigger spot. I've been buying from him for years. I go in and he says hi. He knows my name.
Agree. Same here.
Sometimes he'll be like, hey, I think I got these. I think this might be something that you'd be looking to buy. He's like, I got like 50 of them. Do you want them all? He definitely gives me deals on bulk. Very good deals on bulk.
Yeah.
I buy a lot of my supplies from him. So
yeah,
I think sometimes it depends on the store too.
that longstanding store, every time I have a conversation with them, they start with, "Hey, whatever I have on the box is the most you would ever pay," you know,
Mhm.
and you never pay that, right? Like, it's the more cards you get, the better deal you get cut. That's just the way it typically works. But at the LCS today, it was kind of funny because at one point the owner actually asked me, "Are you selling online on eBay or what?" And I was like, "Oh, that's an
Yep.
interesting question because depending on how you view that, it's going to affect my deal here."
Yeah, and to me, that's if it was my conversation, that wouldn't even be relevant to me because if I said yes and he's like, "Well, then I'm not giving you a discount," okay, then I won't
Yeah.
buy them.
Yeah.
It's business is business. If
Yeah.
you're going to take it personally, that no, when somebody comes to me and buys 15 copies of a base Tom Brady card, are they going to take them and grade them and then resell the tens for a profit? Likely. Why else would you
Mhm.
buy those?
Yeah.
Great. Go for it. Have at it. I got 10 copies of this card at my price out the door,
Yeah.
or a small discount or whatever it was. You can't worry about why do I care who else makes income? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter
Well,
as long as I make my income, I don't really care what the next guy does. So
right. And I don't really see
yeah.
us in competition with the LCS. I think the business
No.
models are completely different.
Well, if anything else, this show is basically teaching others how to do what we do
Hmm.
and creating actual competition. Yet I still think it's valuable. There's a lot of space for a lot of us to play. The more people get involved in cards, the more money there is for everybody, and things just come along. As long as you're buying cards at the right price and selling them at the right price, you took care of your business. Everybody else is, whatever they're doing is what they're doing. Does Stuart care?
Stuart doesn't care.
He
He doesn't
doesn't.
care
He
about
doesn't.
anything.
He doesn't care if you buy a card and resell it. I mean, why would
Stuart's
he?
just here for the party.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope he brought the beer this time. He drinks it all. Yeah, we're always buying. We're always buying.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I'm going to a show on Saturday, and then after that, I'm doing some whiskey tours and whiskey tastings down in Madtown. So I'm excited for that. That'll be fun. We did that a couple weeks ago. I got a group that we do that with a couple times a year, and it worked out perfect because the Madison show is like 2 blocks from one of the whiskey places we
Oh,
wanted. So I'm
yeah.
like, let's do it that weekend. So making the use of my drive time and gas for sure.
I'll be carving pumpkins.
Yeah, that it's a great day for that. Hopefully, it won't be raining out all day.
Might snow on
Um,
Saturday.
Dude, so the last few days, I think I told you my wife's been gone, and we have this giant like hovering witch in the front yard, right? She's like got a broomstick, and she's like
Yeah.
it's like a fake body, that goes out to the back. Well, that's basically a rain catch. So yeah, so the last it seems like 2 weeks at this point. Every day I got to get the shoes on, go out in the rain, and flip all the water because
Yeah.
I can see her. She's supposed to kind of fly level, and eventually it's like, you can see the
Yeah.
water sort of. Luckily, everything works great, and she doesn't have any problems. It's made out, her costume's made out of that like parachute or um, like hammock material, so like
Okay.
the water
Yeah.
comes right off, dries off right away, and everything. But yeah, it's good times, good times. Gotta love all the rain. Let's see. Flipping sports guy says, I believe it. Value lifelong dream was to open LCS, but honestly, I won't even think of it now. Online only if I ever go full time. Yeah, if I did an LCS, it would be to buy out one that's currently in existence and has a decent customer base and inventory to just get into, and I would only do it with a partner. I wouldn't take it all on myself. Those would be my two stipulations of doing a physical store. Let's see. Uh, Peter says, "Got you on the auction. Sorry to beat a dead horse or goat." So are you threatening Stuart?
There'll be no beating of goats here.
No, no goat beating. Oh my God, we're almost caught up on messages.
We are caught up, yeah.
Art Green, welcome to the show. I think some of the newer card shops are going to go right bust as all the pandemic inspired boom shops that cropped up will go away as interest wanes. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, that's just sort of the natural flow of things. There's been a lot of online sellers that have folded up. There's a lot of YouTube channels that have folded up or consequently taken a turn from where they were before. So I just want to mention this real quick. Normally I don't like to mention names or other channels, but this one's pretty big, so I think it'd be all right. Do you watch the Sports Card Investor at all?
Yeah.
Jeff Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the video he made where he bought out of the dollar boxes at this last show?
No.
And then he was going to resell them on a whatnot auction, and I'm like, dude, really? You're the Sports Card Investor, and this is what you got to put. You got to get into our game where I was talking about this stuff. Everybody thought it was nuts 3 years ago. Now you're going to get into this, and where's your $40,000 Kobe Bryant autos? Deal with that crap, Stay out of our pool, right? Jokingly, in a way, a channel like that bringing something that what we do to attention is actually a good thing. I think it does. It does validate what we do. If the guy with 200,000 viewers is building did you see he's building a $10 million store in Atlanta?
Yeah, I did hear about that.
All this stuff, and he's going to go dig in value boxes. Yeah, I think we're winning. So, anyway, I thought it was funny. I just mentioned it out there because, I think most people probably watch his channel, and I just saw the thumbnail of him with these dollar boxes, and I'm like, really, I suppose at some point he had to do a low-end investing episode or something. Maybe that's what he felt like he was doing, but I don't know. I got a kick out of it. But again, I'm not going to hate on him. He built a lot of what's going on in this. He got a lot of people to it. He's got, the app where you can track the values. He's got the little ticker tape on the bottom that runs across during some of the videos. He has the top 5, all this stuff. He's got money. That always helps to have somebody with, some big money go in, and he does kids trading stuff. I'm not hating. I thought it was funny. I'm like, wow, the Sports Card Investor is going to buy out of our dollar boxes from a show. So now if I see him at a show, do I have to elbow this guy now so he stays out of my boxes? Because I'll do it. I've done it before. You stand in front of the box and you're not digging, you're going flying. Because I ain't got time for that, especially at the National, But yeah, anyway, I thought it was pretty funny. So let's see, what else do we want to talk about? What was our other topics? I did get just some funsies here. I did get some new business cards in the mail.
Ooh,
so this is the front side, which has my eBay store and has my new. Ooh, wait. Aha! Hi, Charlie.
There you go.
So it does have my new direct link to my eBay store as well as the QRC. And then on the back, it's got my email, of course, and then the QRC and the address for my YouTube channel on there as well. They did, however, make a slight printing error from my design, and they've got this little random green OP. Do you see that?
I thought that was a miscut that you intentionally had them do for collectors.
No. Yeah. Should I just write 1 of 1 on each one of these? No, they said they had a problem. They have some new art software or whatever. Because, when you design a card, there's always this is your bleed area, that gets cut and blah, blah, blah. And they said they were getting stuff that was showing up in the bleed area for some reason. Because that's not even part of my design. It doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
I don't have anything like that on there. So anyway, I contacted them. They're sending me a corrected whole box for free. So I ended up getting these for a penny a pop in the end because now I have 10,000 of them. But
That'd be nice if Topps did that. When we get a bad card in a box, they'll just send you a whole new box.
I never heard back from them on my Bowman U box.
No.
But oops, hold on. How do I get out of here? Exit solo. There we go. But that's fine. Whatever. I've actually made pretty good money out of that box, and I never pulled any autos. So
Yeah.
strange. I felt like I got better cards, even though I didn't get the autos, because like they're supposed to be like these 1 in 25 pack odds cards, and I got like 4 of them in that box. And
Okay.
Did you see that? Did you see the guy on YouTube who opened 2 boxes and he got 2 big Kahuna cards in every pack, which are supposed to be a case hit? Yeah, he got 2 hot boxes. Yeah, and those big Kahuna cards are supposed to be a case hit. So
nice.
Topps is loading it up on a few products here or there for the lucky few who get into those boxes. Of course, it felt like it would have been right for me to get one of those since I got skunked last year. Pop, if you're listening, I've got Stuart. I'll send him over there, if I need to.
Let's make it right.
Yes, this is your chance to do the right thing. And I know you want to do the right thing. But yeah, anyway, so I got some business cards. I'm kind of running low on top loads finally, so I'm gonna have to score some of those. So I'm gonna have to chase those down. That's gonna be an eBay chase. Let's see what else. Not really buying other than card shows right now. I've looked for some stuff online. Like I said, I sold a ton of Jeter stuff in the past couple months, and my Jeter rows are getting kind of floppy. There's a lot of space in them, so I got to pick up a big chunk of Jeter at some point. I feel like his stuff's gotten a little more expensive, even on the bulk end.
Okay.
And I was getting a couple of low end inserts, some base, a couple shiny cards, stuff like that. I was getting 100 card lots for $50, right? 50 cents a card, which I easily can make money on. And there's a lot of Jeter collectors, so generally they'll buy more than one card, which is a huge advantage, of course, in our environment for sales. But now I feel like I have to get close to like 75 cents, maybe even $1, depending on what's in it. And like, so I don't know. I'll have to keep looking. But yeah, that's about it. I don't have any other promotional stuff or anything like that I'm doing right now. I got the cards. I set up my website. Well, I didn't actually set up my website. Right now, this address just points you to my eBay store. But I did get some information on a good web building site. A company that does web building stuff. So I'm thinking of building my own website too, where I can also do sales at it. I can save some on the fees. I could offer some lower prices, things like that. Like I said, I have a pretty good customer base now. We'll see if I can kind of convert some of that into my own business versus eBay getting all their chunks all the time.
Okay.
So that's kind of the next step in the process here, going forward. I'm at almost 800 followers, I think, on eBay now. So I feel like that's a solid enough base where I could get a few shoppers on my own store if I can give them a better price.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of, eBay getting their 50 cents out of the card, maybe I drop it 25 cents.
Yeah.
And split it with the customer. They save 25 cents. I get 25 cents more profit. So, yeah, because I do all my merchandise stuff. I sell on Shopify, and they do pretty fair pricing through their website. But I don't think it's a great place to sell cards. So I don't think I'm going to build a Shopify store to do it. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I had a huge order in that area of my life today for like 800 euros. It was a nice big one. So I was happy about that. Sidebar, good cards. But yeah, that. And then I'm going to start on my office this weekend. I got to move all the theater furniture into the theater. I got all the carpeting for my office. So then we're going to once we get the furniture out of there, we can put the carpet in and start putting. I got a drywall. Actually, I can't put the carpet in. I have to drywall in there yet. There's 3 walls that have to be drywalled in there yet. So I have the drywall, but so maybe I'll do that on Sunday if possible.
Okay.
And the goal would be by Christmas, I can give a nice tour and move down there and start working in my new office.
There you go.
Yeah, a little quieter space for doing videos. The carpet will be nice if I ever drop a card. It's landing on carpet and not hardwood floor. A little easier to keep clean, I think. I have my own kitchen down there, my own bathroom down there. It'll just be a really nice place to do the show as well as operate the business. I think you just pulled a cornholio move, Charlie, on that goat trap. Are you threatening me? Pee-pee for my bungalow. So funny story. Luna's almost 9 now. When she was like 3, I showed her some Beavis and Butthead, just some safe pieces, because they're funny. And the part where he goes titty caca, and she would say that all the time. Daddy, titty caca. That's funny.
Yeah, I showed my boys it a couple of years ago. My youngest got carried away with cornholio and the TP for my bunghole and all that stuff. So he was wandering around the house saying that, and I don't know if Mom appreciated that.
Probably not, but that's what dads are for.
Yeah,
that's our responsibility. So, and by the way, Beavis and Butthead cards sell very well.
Yeah.
So, I'm actually maybe not quite to that point yet, but I'm actually going to need to buy a Beavis and Butthead lot here at some point. That's the way I like to do those types of cards. I sell them down because you don't know which ones of the cards are going to sell out of a set like that. It's not players or anything. So I'll buy, a lot or a complete set or close to a complete set. It's nice if we can get some bonus items, some of the stickers. I got a couple of the scratch and sniff cards, which were the inserts in that set. Couple sealed packs. So I got some packs for my collection. So I got some PC stuff out of it. But anyway, I like to buy, like almost a complete set and then just list them all and throw them in the drawer.
Sure.
And then pick them as they sell. It's a super easy way. Yeah, it takes you some time to list, the 100 cards in the set or whatever. But it's all sell similar. They're all like items. And you get them all done, and yeah, they're easy to find. You just got that little spot in the drawer or box or wherever you keep them. The pick through is pretty easy to manage. So that's how I do the non-sport. Empire Strikes Back, I'm getting close to needing to buy a chunk of those, which is funny. And I think you sold an Empire Strikes Back card too. You sent me your list, and I believe I saw an ESB card on there.
Yeah, Chewbacca Star Files on the list.
That's what it was, the Star Files. But what's funny was like nobody wanted those cards a few years ago, when probably 4 or 5 years ago now, when I started buying the 1977 Star Wars, which of course everybody wants. Those are the first cards.
Yeah.
But I had gotten a lot where it was like some Return of the Jedi, a bunch of 1977, and then like almost a complete set of The Empire Strikes Back. And I kid you not, I paid like $3 for the whole set of Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And that's all the Star Files cards, all the Boba Fett rookies. And like nobody wanted them. I'm like, what the heck? They don't cost me much. I'll buy them, as part of a lot. I'll stick them in the drawer. Maybe I'll sell one here or there. Now they've been selling much better, so it's kind of funny how things, sometimes take some time to get to a certain point. And now if I go to buy a whole set, now it's like everybody wants like $75, for a set of them. And so, but I've bought, I've slimmed it down and I've bought like lots of Boba Fett, where it's like he has like 3 or 4 different cards in there, and then there's a Slave One ship card, and then he's got a Star File, and I found some sellers that are like, "Oh, here's the 6 Boba Fett cards from this set, $10." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do that."
Yeah.
Those are the bigger money out of the set.
Yeah, Chewbacca was in there. I had a pretty diverse week of card selling. Well, as you said, I shared the list with you, but anywhere from, I think the oldest card was a 1980. It was that Empire Strikes Back card, all the way up to 2022. I sold some auto racing, quite a bit of baseball and football, some MMA, some golf, WWE. Sold an ET extraterrestrial, the title card from
Yeah,
that
the
set.
title card.
Yeah.
I
So,
actually still need that one. I didn't know you had one.
oh really? Yeah.
Yeah.
I also sold one of those Sport Kings Larry Holmes relic cards with a piece of his
Oh,
robe.
nice.
Yeah, so that's what I was hoping for as I've been trying to diversify my inventory. Like
Hmm.
I don't want to be just the big four sports or anything. I want some variety out there to attract different folks to it, sell in between seasons, things like that, and it's starting to pay off, I think.
So, how many skiing squirrel cards do you have so far?
None, because I have not seen any to even
Oh,
put them in the inventory and list them.
good. Those are all mine. You stay out of those. Yeah, I agree. I think that's kind of naturally what's going to happen over time. Plus, you get kind of bored of just dealing with football, or just it
Yep.
gives you some diversity just in your workload, right?
Yep.
Listing after a while gets boring naturally anyway. But yeah, I've found really good pockets of the non-sport stuff for sale, and you can generally get it pretty cheap. Um, if it's something from like an entertainment set, what's great is, like I said, you can just buy a big lot or a set, which you can generally find pretty easily and split up and just list each card and be done with it.
Yep.
I sold a Cryptozoic Ghostbusters card this week.
Nice.
Um, I bought the whole set, and it was a set of like 70 or 80 cards. I got all the subsets. Like, it was a complete set, like a master set, right? It had all the inserts and stuff. I think I paid like $18 for it or something. Again,
Really?
a little bit before the boom. But this is the stuff that crosses my mind when I look at stuff like that. So the original cards, right? Because Ghostbusters came out in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make cards for the first movie. They didn't
Okay.
make cards until the second movie. So this Cryptozoic set, which came out in like 2012 or 2014, is literally the first set of cards for the first movie,
Wow. I would
right?
not have realized that.
See, and like the first Stay Puft Marshmallow cards, and like you can see why
Crystal
there would be
card.
a yeah, right. You can see why there'd be a solid market for that. Yeah, like you got Gozer, and you've got the Devil Dogs, and you got
Yeah.
Rick Moranis, like
Yeah.
with the silly headgear and all that stuff. The girl from the fire station, I can't
I'm
think of
the
her name.
key master. You're the
Janine? Is it
gatekeeper.
Janine? Janine,
Yeah, Janine.
I think. She's never had a card. She was never in the other set either. So that's the kind of stuff that I try to look at, where I'm like, yeah, it's probably South Park has only ever had one set of cards released in like 2000. I don't remember what year that is. I bought a set of them. I had to pay up, but I felt like it was worth it because that show's been on forever.
Yeah.
It's still on. It's still on.
It's still on. Yeah.
Um, I feel like there's some opportunities with that kind of stuff. Those are some things that I would suggest, considering when you're looking at what to buy. Now, here's the catch with that stuff. You're probably not going to find a set of Cryptozoic uh, Ghostbusters cards at your local card show.
Right.
So sometimes you need to get the idea of the things you're looking to buy, not just blindly go in and whatever you find in a box is what you can get. Sometimes you need to have some ideas in mind and then literally search them out yourself to purchase that stuff. You might find a few of those cards or some of the promo cards. You might find a couple of those items, but to be able to get something in bulk where you can list them and make some profit on them. Sometimes you have to buy online as well.
Yeah.
So now, thankfully, I did a lot of that for the first 3 years or so, and I've got such a solid base that I can kind of just fill holes with, mostly with show buying. But I'll definitely continue to buy lots online. It's such a great resource to find anything you want to get. And shipping on something like that is not really of concern, right? So if you're going to buy a set of 100 cards and it's $7 shipping, big deal. You're buying one card and you're paying $7 shipping. Now you're going to want to try to find that local if you can, and not pay that shipping amount. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I look at it. As long as I'm buying enough, the shipping, like if you break down, I always take the shipping and I break it down per card, right? So if it's $7 for 100 cards, that's what, 7 cents a card, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
That's 7 cents a card to ship it. Okay, so I paid 12 cents a card, I paid 7 cents to ship it, I got 19 cents per in each card. That makes sense to me. Like that will work. So yeah, anything else you wanted to talk about
Well, do we
tonight? I mean, we
miss
might even
anything
be done early tonight.
Yeah,
Huh?
what else do we have on our list of topics tonight?
I don't know. I was just going to go look at that. I kind of
Talked
forgot.
about holiday sales. We talked about LCS.
Hold on, I got to pull up my notes. I had them up, but it always times out on me.
Your show notes.
Silly YouTube. Let's see. Holiday sales we did. Buying from your LCS we did. NBA is back. Those were my topics.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of touched on all of it, to be honest with you. Premier League is back. I know you're super excited for that. Manchester City won today. Erling Haaland had 2 goals. We're right on track. We lost to silly Arsenal, but that's not going to set us back enough. I'm excited to get that run going again. Let me see. No, the men's World Cup is in 2 years. It's in 26.
Yeah.
25, 26, and it's in the United States.
LA?
It's in a bunch of different cities in the United States. It's in different stadiums. We don't have any games near here, of course, so I won't be able to get to go to one. But unless I decide to make a trip out of it. But I think that's going to really take off some soccer cards. I think Fanatics is going to put a lot into it, because they'll really be pushing soccer once Panini's out. So I think we're going to see some good opportunities. So be on the lookout for some soccer and trying to build a little bit of soccer for that. You got, like I said, you got 2 years. It's not like you got to jump on it tomorrow, but 2 years can go really fast too if you're trying to accumulate some things to resell. And I sell a ton of soccer cards with players I've never heard of. So don't be afraid to, take a few chances if you can get the cards cheap enough. Buy some packs, buy a box here or there, just to try to. I think the best way to learn the players and to learn some of the sets, they have Asian releases for specific Asian products. The soccer cards are just different. I think it's like anything, okay, well, I should be buying some more UFC. That's true. I need to learn some more of the UFC. I bought a little bit of F1 recently, so I could try to learn some of that. I bought some WWE recently. I think once you get a little bit of skin in the game, it causes you to get that education because you don't want to lose on your investment. Did you buy any of those Sasha Banks cards when you were there? Did you see them, or were they gone?
You mean like this
Because there was some color. Yeah, there was some color, some refractors.
Or this one?
Yeah.
I did.
I left those. I probably should have bought those. Were they $1?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do they go for?
Another one. About 75 cents.
No, I mean, what do they sell for?
Oh, well, I will tell you, I sold a 5-timers parallel the other day for $6.
Sasha Banks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's a 5-timers parallel? I don't know what that is.
Just it commemorates the superstars that won the belt 5 times. So it's just a parallel with a little bit of color on it, and she has the belt, and it just has a band that says 5-timers. So it's
Oh,
not.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's not
It's like a
significantly.
subset. It's a subset, right?
Yes.
Not an
Yes.
insert. Yeah.
Yes. So I mean, it's not that much different from some of these, like this gold insert.
Mm-hmm.
That will probably go okay. These ones are going to be a little bit higher tier from your base card, So,
Right.
These will probably be, I don't know, 15 to $20 I'll make off of these probably, or I'll sell them
Okay.
for.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah, I kind of instantly regretted it right away when I didn't pick those up. That's why I mentioned it to you. I'm like, hey,
And
there's
you
some
missed your
stocks in there.
Becky Lynch
I don't know who that
parallel.
is.
Yeah. You don't know who
I
it is?
I know we just talked about this last week with the girl wrestlers being
You missed
a.
your Ultimate Warrior parallel?
Actually, no, I didn't.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see here. There it is.
There you go.
Hold on,
There
let me
you go.
solo this thing. This one?
Yep, that's the same one. Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't gonna buy two.
And one of them that I picked up, this was a special one because that's a rookie card from when she was in the NXT UK.
Who's that?
Her name, well, on here she was going by Aof Valkyrie. Now she goes by Lyra Valkyria, and she just won the title the other night.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So I would expect to see a little boost in her cards because currently she's kind of like a prospect, but now she's getting a little bit of a push, so you should see a little bit of a bump.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a few WWE cards I picked up there along with other stuff. I got a couple of nice autos out of the dollar box. That's a Nick Toon, Wisconsin boy.
Ooh, nice.
Son. Yep. Oh, the lights are going to mess with me here. Probably
I think I saw that one there.
Yeah, because that's a white card. But there were some serial numbered cards I picked up, 100 to 200. There's a couple of 50s I think I bought.
Yeah.
So
I got them too.
Anytime you see that stuff in a dollar box, why not go with it, right?
Yeah, I got an Aaron Rodgers to 99, a gold for $1. I was like, what the heck? I gotta buy that. I mean, I hate that guy, but he sells.
Well, hate's a strong word.
It's the correct word. But anyway, there was some, and that's the thing. As you know, I grabbed a pretty good stack, so I'm like, nah, I'm not going to get the Sasha Banks this time. I don't really want to do the work on that one right now. I have this other stuff to do.
Here's one that I was really surprised you left because I know your affinity for kickers.
Yeah, right. Is it numbered?
Yeah, that's a Justin Tucker out of 249.
Oh yeah, I would have bought that. I must have missed that one.
Yeah. I'll clean up after you.
Trust me, I got plenty of solid stuff out of there. So
another auto in there. Oh, there goes the lights again as that settles down. But another auto came out of there. I think it's because of that sleeve. Some Jalen Hurts acetate cards. Aiden Hutchinson Flux card.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the Flux. I'm a sucker for those most of the time.
Yeah, I kind of like the Flux too. They're all right.
Especially when I see how much a box costs of it.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned that quite a bit about brands. If I find Origins cards or Limited or Spectra or black. You know, those cards where you're spending $500 and you get 4 cards in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just buying a base card, but you get like 1 base card per box or 2 base cards per box. You know, you should be able to do okay. You know, as $1 on something like that on the $500 box.
Absolutely.
I got a really nice. Here, I'm gonna grab it real quick. I got a really nice Peyton Manning out of that box too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I really wasn't looking at baseball at all, but I ended up getting a lot of nice color on baseball. And with the Diamondbacks in the series, like I couldn't pass
Mm-hmm.
up on this Gabriel Moreno D-backs rookie card, and it's a Topps 35 refractor. I mean,
Oh yeah.
someone will snap that up.
I bought a couple Bryce Harpers before the game.
Did you?
Yeah. He had some Bryce Harper like refractors and stuff like that. So I bought a couple of those.
There's a out of 199 Wilson Contreras. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
parallel. I mean, I'll grab that stuff. You know, anytime I see it. Because even though these aren't going to be the lowest low end card, and they're not going to be the highest. They're going to be somewhere in the middle, I think. Volpe and Allen and Ginter. Volpe was in there. A couple more D-backs cards.
Yeah, I don't think I got through all of the boxes. I was only there for like an hour and a half, and then I had to do some other errands.
You know how I love my Stadium Club?
Nice.
Yeah,
yep, I do too.
Sam Musial refractor.
Yep. Old players in Stadium Club are the best.
Yep.
That's my favorite. Here, I'm going to show you this Peyton Manning.
That is nice.
Super Bowl winner out of Spectra, nice and thick. And it's numbered out of 75.
Okay.
Which is that's pretty solid low numbering for that guy.
I like that.
It is out of 75.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spectra's sneaky. It's good stuff. The nice looking cards. I mean, even if you wanted to get this thing graded, it would look super nice in a slab. It's shiny. Got that really cool, like, black and white photo of him throwing in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
That reminds me of those Bowman Scouts, like, top prospect cards.
Yeah, the top 100, yeah.
Yeah. And I got some of your favorites out of there today, too. I got some minis coming out of there.
Nice.
So there's a Jeremy Pena refractor mini. And I got Masataka Yoshida mini.
Nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, you didn't pick them totally clean.
Yeah, well, I don't really do baseball prospects much. So, yeah, I could totally see that. I knew the Sashas I should have got. That was about my limit of shoulda, coulda, woulda.
And that Sasha's you probably would not have thought about grabbing if not for talking to me the last 7 months about it.
That's correct. And that was partly why I mentioned it to you. I was like, hey, go get these Sashas. I got a few of these medalist insert. This is one of my favorite inserts from the 90s. Do you remember these?
Yep, I do.
From Stadium Club. It's got this cool die cut where you can see me through it, kind of.
Yep.
And then you can see the die cut on the other side. And then he had a bunch of Prism, the original Prism, not this made-up Prism that we see nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, a bunch of the star players of that, some, you know, early Dion stuff. Let's see, what else did I pick up there? Ooh, I got this. This is a numbered Merino card. Passing the Torch Red, another one of my favorite inserts from Elite.
Okay.
And it's numbered out of 1,000.
Nice.
So not super low number, but Merino stuff does very well.
Yeah.
And anything numbered. Got this nice field level silver Dion. You kind of buy what you know, you know? I mean, for the most part. One of these fantasy football Emmets.
I've
one of my
seen
favorite.
that one before, yeah.
Yeah, I was buying a few sets of those. They sell really well, so This is one of my favorite cards ever too. This Walter Payton Emmitt Smith
Okay.
Dynasty card out of Stadium Club. Stadium Club stuff is just nice. A Bo Jackson traded. You don't see that very often. Here's that Bo rookie that I picked up, $8.
Nice.
And it's, if you look at it, like I almost dropped it. It's centered pretty well. Top to bottom isn't too bad. I mean, it's not going to be a 10, but corners are decent, edges are decent, surface is really nice. You can see there's nothing on it. So I'm like, man, $8 is pretty solid. And actually, I didn't pay that because I did get a bit of a discount.
Yep.
On my buy. Then I picked up a baseball, the rookies bow. This nice club level, which is the toughest pull out of Select.
Yeah.
Silver Montana. Been selling a lot of Montana lately. This one was kind of sneaky. This is a Classics Jim Kelly. But it's the alternate, the Legends one. So it's numbered out of 75.
Yeah, you can see that. Yeah.
And Jim Kelly stuff surprisingly does pretty well. The Bills have a really solid fan base.
Yeah.
I think those are kind of the highlights, at least what I listed so far. I still got some stuff to list, of course.
Yeah, I'm slowly building up some hockey. I pulled some hockey out of there too. Just big names that I know.
I tried. I couldn't decide what to buy out of it.
Really?
No.
Because I mean, there's plenty of, well, I shouldn't say
there was
plenty,
like Ovechkin. There was one or two Sidney Crosby's, some Lemieux. But it was all base card stuff for the most part.
I mean, I got a Gordie Howe.
Yeah, but it's like SPX or whatever, right?
Yep, Gordie Howe.
Yeah.
Patrick, I believe it's pronounced Waugh, right?
Patrick Waugh. Yep.
Yeah. So there was some stuff, and I didn't have any of his cards. Wow, like just really dislikes me.
Yeah, you look like a ghost, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just felt like when I want to take a chance on something, I don't really want to pay $1.
But you're not paying $1, right?
Well, whatever, 80 cents or whatever the heck we give this to us for. Not like it wasn't at show prices. If those were in 50-cent boxes at a bottom, you know what I mean? And you wouldn't think that makes much of a difference, but it does. We're talking pennies on most of our stuff. So
yeah.
I found
about taking a chance on some stuff, and for me, hockey's one of those that I take a chance on.
I 1,000% agree. Yes.
I need to go to a hockey game. I haven't been to a hockey game in probably 10 years.
Yeah, my niece. I think I told you this a while ago. My niece plays hockey, and she's like amazing. She scored like 56 goals in 12 games last year. And so she's only 11 or 12, I think. And so now she's at the level where it was like tryout team. So it's like A, B, C, A best squad team. She just made the A squad. So
yep.
They haven't started yet, but I'm more excited to see her games this year. Like it was, in theory, it's fun to watch, someone dominate, score 6 goals in a game, but it's not that much fun either, in a lot of. So I'm excited to see her have like better quality teammates, that are up to her level and better quality competition. And I think it'll be more fun to watch the sport. Her mom doesn't think that way because it'll be more nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And they still don't allow checking. I think she has 2 more years before they can check. And she's bigger for her age, like taller, and built. So I think that will actually help her game in many ways.
Yeah.
Because at that age, at 12, there's like 12-year-olds and there's like 12-year-olds. So it's like you see her on the ice, like with some of these other kids, and you're like, dang, you look twice as, because it's that weird spot, right, where you haven't, not everybody hasn't kind of caught up on their growth yet. So,
Right. Hey,
but yeah, I think hockey will be fun.
We were going to have a little competition with one of our watchers last week about the listings number, but I don't think
We
I saw
were.
their name out there this week.
I'm guessing. I'm guessing he didn't pull his weight, so he he bounced on us. I don't know if you're out there and you're just not in the comments. Throw a comment in there so we can take down the Charlie.
Yeah, I didn't have a
This is your
stellar week of
chance.
listing, but I did get a decent weekend compared to what I was doing during the football coaching season.
Did you like that picture I sent you today of our football quarterback?
Of the football quarterback.
Yeah, I sent you a picture of Jordan Love. He's walking his dog past my house.
Yeah, that one. I'm thinking an actual football player like uniform picture,
no.
not just the random player walking down the street.
Yeah. Yeah, he was actually coming around the corner walking his dog, and I was in my car, and I pulled into my driveway. And I just want to hop out and be like, "Hey, smile!" So I kind of let him walk into my trees a little bit and took a picture. But yeah, he's very quiet on his walks. I don't know if he's just sort of, when you're at that kind of a level of exposure, if that's just how he needs that for his process or whatever. But yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, so and he lives in my neighborhood. I'm not gonna, disturb him or anything, but it's, I don't know, just kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, I see we got one more chat come in from Peter. We could probably take a look at that, and then it's probably time to wrap things up.
Agreed. Peter says, speaking of alternative cards to list, I just listed 50 2020 F1, F2 Topps Chrome. That is like the only set of F1 to buy from what I hear, the first year. And now moving on to a tall stack of 03, 04 Topps Chrome basketball. Oof, that's spendy stuff because that's LeBron's rookie year, and Carmelo Anthony.
Going in the right direction for sure.
For all of those chasing those Carmelo Anthony rookie cards, right?
Yeah.
So that's the highlight of that set. Yeah, awesome. Those, I would think even commons of 03, 04 Chrome basketball would probably do okay. F1, I don't know that much about it. I know there's like 2 or 3 racers that dominate, and then everybody else is just kind of playing in the sandbox, I guess. But
well, I can give you an idea. So one of my cards over the last week were a 2020 Topps Chrome F1, and it was the 54 World on Wheels subset. So it was just a car, and I sold that for $6.
Okay. Not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bought some that Deegan stuff. I bought a little bit, but I haven't sold any of it yet. I've sold some NASCAR stuff, but I haven't sold any of the F1. But that's okay. It's, in some ways, I feel like it's harder for me to sell some of that stuff when I have 32,000 listings of other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe like you were talking about, oh, my sales have really picked up. Well, you probably listed about 10% of what your total store, inventory is, because you got some new listings done.
Yeah.
And that should give you a pretty good jump. Versus I could list like 2,000 cards and it's hard to even notice to some degree. I mean, not that the buyers are looking for the same thing, but
yeah, and I think that's where those promotions become more important, right? Getting those out in front of people and bringing in a new client to your store in a different category of card, because that's not, if you put a ton of F1 out there, that's not really what you're known for, right? You're the Brett Favre seller, right?
and I sell a ton of Brett Favre. I mean, I'm shocked sometimes that they just keep moving this stuff because I had so much of it. I'm like, man, I kid you not, I have like 120 copies of some cards.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the hell am I going to sell 120 of these? And then all of a sudden now I look and I have like 89 left, which is, still a lot, but it's like, man, I sold 30 of those, It's crazy how much you can really move. And the cards that sell, sometimes when you buy those little collections or those lots, and you're like, okay, yeah, it's a colored card or a numbered card, but it's of some guy that has no relevance, and it's like somebody bought that for $5. Why would you buy
Right.
it? You know, but we're not all the same. Some people collect teams. Some people collect different players from different colleges. Maybe this guy was his roommate at Stanford. You know, I don't
Yeah.
know.
We always say it. There's a buyer for everything. It's just a matter of how long you find it. So like I showed that Nick,
your pricing pricing.
Like that Nick Toon auto card I picked up today and showed earlier. There's not a huge market for Nick Toon, but there are people out there that are diehard Wisconsin Badger fans, and they're going to follow some of those guys. I picked up a first Bowman Ches Malusi today too, who's still a running back for the Badgers. Is he going to be a huge NFL star? Probably not. But that card will probably move.
Nick Toon also has Al Toon, his dad, who was I think he's a Hall of Famer.
He is, yes.
I believe. So, you know, sometimes you have that too. I was thinking about that with like the Bowman U stuff, right? So you got Shedeur Sanders in there, who is Deion's son. Yep. And I'm thinking, I mean, the kid's pretty good, but he's not like the top quarterback in the nation, or, you know, he's no Caleb Williams or anything.
Correct. And
his stuff sells better than that stuff does. And I'm like, it's mostly because of his dad, you know? But that's why, you know, I said it's, you know, hobby doesn't necessarily make sense in cards. There's a lot of other factors, you know.
Right.
We were talking about Rodman cards earlier, and, you know, just his character. And, you know, if you were to name, you know, have to name me 5 players from the 90s basketball, who would you name? You know, I think Rodman would make a lot of those lists, you know. Granted, he played for the Bulls too. That didn't hurt. But, you know, of course, you'd go Jordan, you'd go Kobe, you go, you know. But I bet Rodman pops up quite a bit. And he seems like a sneaky play, but he's really not, you know. And he had such a media attention, and his friendship with the strange Korean guy, and shows up in a wedding dress, and, you know, I mean, he's just he's something.
Oh no, that was Ricky Williams with Ditka.
He's still relevant. He has his own shoe. He had his own shoe in the 90s. He has a new shoe coming out. I think with Nike. I believe it's Nike. But there's going to be a new Rodman shoe coming out. You know, as long as you kind of.
Not his daughter's shoe?
What does his daughter play?
She's a big soccer star, women's soccer star.
Rodman?
Mm-hmm. She was just on the World Cup team.
Yeah. I don't think I knew that.
Trinity Rodman, I think, something like that.
Trinity Rodman.
Yeah. Huh. She didn't get a ton of minutes because I think she's like 17 or 18.
Sure.
But she's an up and coming star.
I'm pretty sure I did hear that. So, but yeah, she probably doesn't really have many cards either. So
yeah,
something to watch out for. That World Cup was so disappointing.
MD Sports Cards confirmed for me. It's
Trinity. Yeah, that World Cup team was not very good.
No.
It was probably their most disappointing team they've had since I started watching it, you know, when I was a kid. So it's crazy.
I also didn't
that happened. Very young team.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I also didn't like the talk coming from the leaders on that team either. There was a lot of blame being cast around. And
yeah, well, I think, and MD kind of made a point here. Welcome, MD. I don't think you were talking earlier, so this is your entrance to the chat. Welcome. He kind of makes a good point, because I think he's right. It's like you have your super vets that like kind of need to hang it up, and then your super young kids on the team, and it feels like they can't quite get together.
Transition.
Yeah, and that's tough. It's tough to hand it over, and it's tough to, you know, pick up where legends left off. So they might have a little bit of might have a few years in there where they struggle. Luckily, the World Cup's only every 4 years, so you kind of get a freebie rebuild period. You know, after you get bounced. So they have qualifying, and, you know, there's other stuff that they have to do before then, but they should be able to do that at least, you know, while they work on the team. I think they have a coaching issue too. I I don't follow it real closely, but I've kind of heard that in a few different places. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they bounce back. We have a new listener watcher joining us. Sporto 20MI. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but welcome. What's up, guys? I never catch this live. Well, you did tonight.
Stuart
Congratulations.
says, welcome.
Gotta put the tongue out, though.
Yeah. I forgot the tongue. It's like a 90s Bud Light commercial.
Bud. Remember the stupid frog? The frog?
Bud.
Wiser. Man, when like commercials were a thing. Did I tell you the other day I was showing Luna commercials? Once in a while I like to watch Christmas commercials. I think I told you that. And I was showing her some good commercials. I showed her the bacon strips. Remember bacon strips?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Bacon! Get me one. I do it myself, but I don't have thumbs. You know, those are great. Those are great commercials. Oh, I think that's bacon, but I can't read. You know, I mean, both commercials are awesome.
Every morning I wake up and I smell bacon cooking.
Oh man, those actually did smell good. I remember getting bacon strips for my dog a long time ago. I mean, it's not the same as bacon, clearly, but I was like, man, they got the smell down pretty good, which is really more important to the dog than taste is.
Yeah.
Now the smell is their number one, trigger, but yeah, it's kind of funny. And then I showed her the Where's the Beef commercials from Wendy's. Remember those? The little short little old lady would stand on the other side of the counter and it would be like, yeah, where's the beef? I know, but there's no beef, and yeah, she got a kick out of those. I'm like, I suppose you don't see commercials aren't really a thing. They see like ads, like 5-second ads, and they hit skip.
Right.
That's all kids, have exposure to. That, and of course, like medicine commercials, that read a list of problems put these drops in your eyes, they'll make them wet, but it'll cause you hernias and kidney failure, and you'll shit yourself, and the side effects are totally not worth the drug in most cases.
So Sporto explained the name for us. He's always loved sports. He loved Barry Sanders, number 20, and he lived in Michigan.
I actually would have said Michigan for the MI. The 20, I think, threw me, which I don't know why, because I'm a huge Barry Sanders fan.
Yeah.
And someone's going to shoot me for this, but I actually think he was the most natural talented running back ever in the game of football.
Why would anyone argue with that?
Well, there's a huge, solid Jim Brown following, and
it's a different kind of back.
There's Walter Payton has his, he was more of a moves back than. Yeah, you just couldn't tackle Barry. That was the big difference. He had these giant linebackers that were, top defensive players in the league, and they just looked like morons. They lost their pants, every time they tried to tackle the guy. He was just insane. So good. So anyway, all right. I think that's it. Well, and Emmitt Smith. That MD says also Emmitt, which is a good argument. I mean, he does hold all the records. He played forever. I think what's hard for me to say Emmitt as the top was he had such an awesome team.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good quarterback. His O-line was fantastic. Their defense was good. So I think he was given a lot of advantages. And if you see what Barry Sanders has to do on a play versus what Emmitt Smith has to do on a play, it's not the same thing.
Right.
Same thing, but there's many great YouTube videos of just Barry Sanders highlights, and I shake my head. And the game isn't like that at all. Like these running backs, they're nothing like that now. Yeah.
Barry routinely turned a 5-yard loss into a 25-yard gain.
Yeah. And he'd go backwards for a little while, and then he'd come this way, and he'd even fool the cameraman, like, oh, Barry Sanders is down. The camera will go away, and it's like, no, wait, he's still running. Catch up to him. And he just and he had this. His center of gravity was like 4 inches off the ground. It was
Yeah.
insane. Like he could just squat down and like how are you going to tackle that? There's nothing to grab. You have no force. Like he's coming at you. What are you going to do? Like you're screwed. Yep. Even if you grab him, you can't get him down, and that's if you can get a hold of him. He was So enough about Barry Sanders, though, I suppose. Anyway, I think that's probably going to conclude it for us tonight. Oh, we have another new watcher, or at least a new commenter. I just did a local card show and had really good bargain boxes. You would have made a 2-hour video of your good finds. Oh, I like to hear that. Where are you located so I can come
road trip
2-hour video on your boxes? Or you could just send them to me. That would be even better. Sporto obviously agrees with me. Nobody moved like Barry, and he was humble, always handing the ball to the ref when he scored. The documentary coming out next month will be interesting to watch. Yeah, he participated on a documentary of another player, and it was kind of interesting to hear what he had to say. Probably the most words I ever heard come out of that guy's mouth. You're right. He's very, very meek, very humble. And I think that actually made it hard for him to be who he was, too, in the league. And I think that was one of his reasons for retiring. Just doing interviews and people stopping him for autographs. I just don't know that he was super comfortable with a lot of that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think pure, like, if you're a football coach, right?
Yeah.
Sort of, Charlie? Okay.
Sort of.
Like, if I gave you a sheet of paper and I said, draw me your ultimate running back, what he would look like how could it not be Barry Sanders, right? I mean, just all the he has all the points in the right spots.
Yeah, because even though he wasn't a huge back, he could run with some power too.
Mm-hmm. It's because of the low center of gravity and just those legs. It's like an oxen almost, just.
Right.
Didn't maybe look the best part, but just once the job was on duty, that was it. That was and there's a reason why his stuff sells really well. His rookie cards never did anything in the league, like winning wise, right? I think he might have won he did win an MVP, right? He split an MVP with Brett Favre, I think, right?
I think you might be right. Yeah.
But he, he never won anything. I think he only won one playoff game in his whole career, something insanely horrible like that. But he was just so good that people have just grabbed onto him and keep buying his stuff. One of the things I think about when I buy cards of players like that is I think about YouTube, right? So when we were kids, and did you see Jim Brown highlights randomly when you wanted to? No, there was no access. There was no access to that. I mean, you had and Jim Brown on a cold Sunday afternoon and the friendly dog pound confines or whatever. Right, the NFL films. When that stuff would pop up, you would get some exposure to some of those plays, but the video is terrible. It's always this really bad slow-mo stuff. Now it's like, Barry Sanders, that he sounds like a good running back. Do on YouTube, and boom, you can watch every play that guy ever was involved with. So I think players like that could be forgotten aren't if their content is solid enough. So think about that sometimes when you're looking at buying cards too. Not necessarily, obviously, a player like that is all, he's already retired, that's done. But think about a current player Tim Tebow is a great example. I buy a ton of Tim Tebow stuff. Tim Tebow has a super huge, solid following. The guy never won anything,
And he's not that talented.
Nope. Basically got removed from the sport, and he tried baseball, whatever. But Tim Tebow, he has that kind of. So those are the fringe players that are usually pretty good buys.
be interesting talking about running backs to see how Derrick Henry is looked at 20 years from now.
I don't know. And I do buy some Derrick Henry stuff here and there. You can get it pretty darn cheap. So, and I always look at, especially because he's still playing.
Yeah.
They generally will make the playoffs most years, or they have. So it's kind of like, okay, well, I can usually get a couple of Derrick Henry sales, later in the season once they make the playoffs. And so I've been able to make some recent sales. But you're right. I kind of think about it for the future too, that maybe Marshawn Lynch is another guy like that. I sell his stuff that way. He was such a media weirdo besides with his, I do not recall.
Skittles.
I do not recall. I do not recall. Yeah. Yeah, those are some interesting things that stick around. That's kind of like your future Rodmans, right? Your future, those kinds of players where maybe they didn't. I mean, Rodman obviously has wins, but he wasn't obviously the star of the Bulls, know. Yeah, it's some cool stuff for the future for sure to think about. Sotocad, is it Sotocad? Sotocad Collectibles. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm reading him a small print here. He's from Amarillo, Texas. That's a little ways for us to head to a card show, unfortunately. But yeah, if you're looking to sell bulk and you're willing to ship, send me a list. If you got good prices, I'd be happy to.
I was out there in Amarillo a couple months
see
ago.
if I can make it. So go figure. When are you going back? Tomorrow?
I don't know.
No? Oh. Weren't you just in like Pennsylvania or something?
Yeah, I was in Scranton, Pennsylvania the last couple of days.
I bet that was lovely.
It was this time of year. Down in the Lackawanna River Valley, all the trees up on the mountains on either side.
I suppose, yeah. I suppose, time of the year was like perfect to go for that.
And where I was working was actually at the base of a ski hill up on the side of the mountain. So.
Hey, what do you do? Like when you go to these places, you show them how to move stuff.
I do stuff, yeah. I make sure things move. No, gotcha. I work in logistics, so usually I'm managing, pickup or delivery of freight from one place to another. This particular job that has me traveling around is for a dinosaur exposition show. So they go around from arenas and stuff like that. And then I go out.
I saw the dinosaur in your video or in your photo.
Yes.
It's right behind you, I said. That's awesome. All right. Well, I think we got 2.5 hours in on this deal, so I think we got our time in. Thanks everybody so much again for joining us in the chat. We can't do this without you. We're babbling morons up here without you guys. And that includes Stuart. Stuart barely says 2 words.
Stuart's been quiet tonight.
He has. But anyway,
we've angered the Stuart.
He's gone but never forgotten. I mean, he won't let you forget.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Those of you watching after this post, just remember every Wednesday at 8:00 Central Standard Time, Charlie, myself, and the goat are on here. Unless Charlie has his face in a Kleenex, then that arrangement might change a little bit. You're stuck with me at that point, but yeah, we try to cover a couple of the topics every week and engage in the chat and just talk about selling low-end cards on eBay and doing that grind. Because after we do listing, we do
shipping.
Shipping. Yep. Put you on the spot there. Listing and shipping and listing. Yeah, hit the like if you would. I'd appreciate that as well. Yeah, we'll see you all next week. If you have suggestions for topics, we would love to get them. I do get them on the other videos on the channel, and I kind of move them over sometimes to this live format because I think sometimes it's easier to do that than for me to make a whole video about something on my own. So yeah, keep those ideas coming. It's an ever-changing area. We want to make sure that we stay on top of things, and you guys help us as much as we help you. So we really appreciate you. And with that, I'm
Absolutely.
going to say peace out. Have a great night.
Peace out, everybody.
Soon.